Hey guys, we are still on verdict watch. So I don't know how you guys want to count the clock. Kathy Roussan with Law and Crime was saying it's been about 9 hours, but that's including that replay yesterday of Detective Bill Ricketts' testimony, which was a few hours before they said, stop, that's enough, we're good. So they got there at 9 this morning, so it's been 45 minutes this morning so far. They stayed until 8 o'clock last night, and one of the jurors had to leave at 8, so they all got their stuff together and went home. I don't know. Well, hold on, actually. Let me correct myself. I saw Kathy say 9, but I think it's 7. I think this was a typo. It says it's been approximately 7 hours of 9 deliberations. I think that was supposed to be deliberation. So 7 hours was the clock. There we go. Let's go with 7 hours. That seems better. We were in the middle of watching Chris Melton's testimony as a rewatch. This was not a jury request. We'll get back into it. This is the same facial expression we left him on yesterday. We were in the middle of cross. I hope everyone's doing well this morning. We have a lot of people in the building. Maddie says I'm the first gray name in the building. Good to see you, Dee. Hey, Amanda Lives Mom. Sometimes I just call you Amanda. I'm sorry. I know that that's not what your username means. Good morning to Amber. We've got Dancing Gold. I never want to say anything's impossible, but I really struggle. I don't think I could comprehend or cope with 12 people wanting to vote guilty. I just don't want to see that outcome. Montana Lil is smoke-free. Oh, keep it together. That sounds tough, so we've got your back. If Montana Lil seems a little off today, we're going to keep him in our thoughts and keep him strong and motivated. That is a tough thing to do. Cash Money Cass, good to see you. Hey, Judy. Hey, C-Mish. Hey, infamous true crime junkie in North Carolina. We've got Hellraising Angel in the building. Shanikia Young. Happy Annie. The whole gang is here, guys. So we're going to get back into Melton. It's Melton Tuesday. And, of course, when there's a question, we'll toggle over. We will toggle over. The writing on the board. Yes, chew lots of gum. That's what I'm hoping for.
So is it fair to say that the actual time is between 10 a.m. and 11:30 on the 19th? Based on your statement?
As far as being at Truck Customs?
Yes, sir.
And you stated what you did say? What did you just say? I'm sorry.
Would it be fair to say that the actual time of being at Truck Customs is sometime between 10 a.m. and 11:30 a.m.?
That's pretty broad, but yeah, I would say, okay, it would fit in there.
Now, during the January 21st, 2001 interview, you were told for the first time that Ms. Baker was sexually assaulted. Is that fair?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. During the January 21st, 2001 interview, you were told that Tara was probably sexually assaulted.
I don't recall being told at that point. I had been told Tara's brother had called me that morning and had kind of informed me that this is what we're looking at, that they had been informed.
So let me ask the question again. On January 21st, 2001, you knew that Tara had been sexually assaulted. Is that right?
At that day, yes, I had been informed that day.
Now, law enforcement also informed you of that. Do you recall?
I don't recall.
Would hearing the recording refresh your recollection?
I would say if I heard it, it would help reflect. Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to refresh this witness's recollection outside the presence of the jury.
Right, and this is a good time for a restroom break, so I'm going to send you all into the jury room. This will be a good restroom break, so we'll take a little bit of time. Please don't discuss the case.
Yeah.
We'll be on the record at 5 minutes after 12. Thank you.
All right, so we'll skip that. Everybody in the chat do a no blank with your YouTube name, or what if you want to use your real name.
All right, we're running a little bit behind. I had to take an emergency phone call related to Chief Judge duties, so I apologize for the delay, but we'll go back on the record. Mr. Cruz, are you ready for the jury to come in? Okay. Oh, that's right. Of course. All right. Are you ready to begin that? All right. Very good, sir. Go ahead.
All right, play the thing.
Mr. Melton. All right, just for purposes of the record, let the record reflect that the last question asked to Mr. Melton was during the January 21, 2001 interview. I'm going to state it how I said it. You were told that Tara was probably sexually assaulted. At this time, we were refreshing his recollection. We were playing Chris Melton's January 21st, 2001 recorded interview. Minute mark 11:51 to 12:02 for purposes of refreshing Mr. Melton's recollection. Your Honor, if you will.
Well, oh, it reverted. Well, it's on lawyer right. Oh, thank you.
Hi, Mr. Melton, I'd like you to listen to this and let me know if your memory is refreshed. If you need to hear any other portions of it, I don't mind playing, okay?
Lobotomist and that kind of blood people there, they take it, store it, put it in evidence, and then on Monday morning, we've got a good working relationship. They'll start right away for us and tell us exactly what we've got. Did their thing Saturday, and of course on the weekend there's none of the lobotomists and that kind of blood people there. They take it, store it, put it in evidence, and then on Monday morning we've got a good working relationship. They'll start right away for us and tell us exactly what we've got. Tara was probably sexually assaulted.
You recall being told that, Mr. Melton?
Yes, sir.
All right, Your Honor, the witness's recollection has been refreshed.
All right.
I am ready for the jury to come.
All right. Could you bring the jury in, please, sir? Thank you.
And Mr. Melton, during the January 21st, 2001 interview, you were told that Tara was probably sexually assaulted. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. You would agree that you didn't start crying. Is that correct?
Correct.
You didn't become upset. Is that correct?
I would say not correct.
You said that's incorrect.
Incorrect.
Did you make outward expressions of anger?
No.
You didn't.
Yeah, kind of weird to go from supposedly punching a wall 30 times the night before to then finding out that there was a sexual assault to just being like, yeah.
Say you needed a moment to yourself, right?
Yeah, did you punch a wall?
Correct.
You didn't even say, I hope you find who did this before I do, did you?
Correct.
Instead, you asked calmly, did you find some stuff on her like semen? Is that right?
Correct.
Yes, this is Chris Melton.
Now, at the conclusion of the January 21st, 2001 interview, and I believe you've seen the photographs of your hands, pictures were taken of your hands. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And I think I have a better version of those hand photos I would like to show you.
Ooh, this is where we got to see what looked like the cement on his hands. Or something.
This is going to be marked as Defense Exhibit 41. There are 13 photos in Defense Exhibit 31. It will be a omnibus exhibit, photos or better quality photos of Mr. Melton's hands. And while the state is reviewing the same, Your Honor, I'd just like to clarify the record with Defense Exhibit 29. There are There are 9 photos in Defense Exhibit 29.
Sorry, say that again?
Just for purposes of clarifying the record, for Defense Exhibit 29, there are 9 photos collected in Defense Exhibit 29.
No questions so far today.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that I'm showing Mr. Melton the 13 photos of his hands marked as Defense Exhibit 41.
Nobody ever lets crews know when they're done looking at the exhibits. They hate the defense. Like, he just stares and goes to shake the papers and make a noise. The state does the same thing.
You would agree that Defense Exhibit 41 is. You would agree that Defense Exhibit 41 is the same thing you saw in Defense Exhibit 29. Let me change that. Please forgive me. You'd agree that Defense Exhibit 41 are photographs of your hands. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and a little bit better quality than Defense Exhibit 29. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Okay, and those photos are a fair, accurate depiction of your hands as they were on January 21st, 2001. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, Your Honor, I would move to introduce Defense Exhibit 41 and the 13 photos included in same into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
They are admitted.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Now, after the photographs were taken of your hands, while at the hospital, you did a blood draw as well. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you remember giving that blood draw. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and that's January 21st, 2001.
Correct.
Okay. After you were asked for hair and blood in January, your parents told you they're going after you, Chris. Do you recall them making that statement to you?
Yes.
Now, you discussed with the state the photograph you were shown of Miss Baker to identify her body. Do you recall us talking about that?
Earlier? When you showed me?
Correct.
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. And you stated that that was not the photo that was shown to you to identify her body. Is that right?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I
Go ahead, Mr. Melton.
I was looking through a digital camera with a small frame, and it was fuzzy, and it's hard to... Anyway, it's not as high quality as what you're showing here, but no.
Well, we could agree she had a sheet over her body. Is that right?
I believe she had something draped across her. It was at the bottom frame of the digital image.
All right, so I asked you this question. Do you remember telling law enforcement that the photo shown of you, Miss Baker, had a blanket covering her from the neck down? So I saw her face and her hair.
Correct.
And the photo I showed you was a photo of Miss Baker with a sheet covering her from the face down, the neck down, and you saw her face and her hair. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
But we can agree you did not see a black cord wrapped around Miss Baker's neck. Is that fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Yeah, this part is sketchy.
Do you recall the police officer interviewing you about you telling Mrs. Virginia Baker that you saw a black cord wrapped around Miss Baker's neck?
So what's really crazy about this part to me is outside of what the jury's heard, apparently for several years, like years and years and years, the Baker family was trying to have a death certificate released, and they didn't want to release the death certificate because they didn't want to give out information about the cause of death. They wouldn't even release a redacted death certificate for years. So that is a signal that, hey, they believe that the manner of death, likely this cord, because everybody knew about the fire, they didn't, and they'd already asked suspects about the sexual assault. They didn't want to give out this detail about the black cord. So how else would Chris Melton have known about this black cord? Unless somebody truly showed him a picture of it and then deleted the picture, and that picture never made it to evidence.
Not a black cord wrapped around her neck, no. I don't recall that.
You don't recall?
I do recall in the original photo that I saw, there was something draped over her, and I could recall seeing something black. I didn't know what it was. But like I say, I don't think that's even the image I saw.
Like, listen to his voice to me.
In the original.
I know I'm judging someone's demeanor, their body language, their voice, but his voice just seems like
cord wrapped around Miss Baker's neck.
Not a black cord wrapped around her neck, no. I don't recall that.
You don't recall?
I do recall in the original photo that I saw, there was something draped over her, and I could recall seeing something black. I didn't know what it was. But like I say, I don't think that's even the image I saw.
So, Mr. Melton, we're speaking, the specific question I'm asking you, and you might have answered, I just want to make sure I'm clear. In the photograph you saw, Miss Baker, it was her with a sheet from the neck down. Do we agree on that?
The one you showed me, yes.
Okay, not the one I showed you, the one you described to law enforcement.
I believe I stated there was something from, I don't know if I said sheet, but in the digital camera at the bottom section of the frame, it kind of stopped. You could kind of see something laying there.
Sure, Your Honor. Mark, I move to Mark. Move to mark the audio recording of Chris Melton with Detective Newton as defense exhibit 42.
Mr. Cruz.
Yes, sir. And just to make sure we're on the same page before I play this,
Guys, I dropped
law
a link.
enforcement asked you, do you remember what?
I dropped a link in the chat to the slow. I mean, I guess we could just play it. Tabiz had tagged me in it. It's a slowed down version of the Devastation clip. To me, this really doesn't make any difference to me. I could see why people heard it either way. Again, I'm sticking by my guns that I think it's weird. If you don't want to see something, why did you go there without somebody asking you to show up there? Like, why did you go there? But let's see what you guys think. And I actually like Ian Runkle's take on this, is if the jury agrees with the defense that what he said here was the devastation I caused, they probably wouldn't still be deliberating. They'd have their answer.
So I didn't want to see.
So I don't think all 12 jurors heard it this way.
No matter who it was, I didn't want to see what devastation I may have caused.
Chris Melton stated he didn't want to go into Miss Baker's apartment because he did not want to see the devastation he had caused.
No matter who it was, I didn't want to see what devastation I may have caused.
He did not say, I didn't want to see the damage I had caused. He said he didn't want to see the damage he had caused.
He definitely didn't say he, though. He definitely did not say he.
No matter who it was, I
Run it
didn't
back
want to
one
see
more time.
what devastation I may have caused.
Chris Melton stated he didn't want to go into Miss Baker's apartment because he did not want to see the devastation he had caused.
No matter who it was, I didn't want to see what devastation I may have caused.
I just hear devastation may have caused. I don't even hear a word in between it.
He did not say, I
Did not want to see the devastation he had caused.
No matter who it was, I didn't want to see what devastation I may have caused.
He did not say, I didn't want to see the damage I had caused. He said he didn't want to see the damage he had caused.
I mean, that's just a bold-faced lie. That's not even plausible. There were so many moments in Yalmancelli's closing where he just flat out lied. Just lied. Down to, oh, they told you there was no semen, but we cleared that up. No, you didn't. Zykeria Sims was talking about semen, but on cross-examination, when she was asked if there actually was semen, she had to say no. And that she had to say that if there was semen, they wouldn't be able to tell anyway because it's not confirmatory. So a double no. And yet he still represented in closing that the defense tried to play tricks on the jury by emphasizing that there was no semen. This guy drives me nuts. So, let's see. Yeah, everybody in the chat saying they're hearing I can see people hearing it multiple ways, and I think the polls I've seen have been like a 75-25 split, with choices only being I or they. Oop.
How much of her was exposed during that, in that picture that you saw? And your response was, they had a blanket covering from the neck down, so I saw her face and her hair, you know. You were asked, okay, you couldn't see any of her body or body parts. Your response was, no, I did not see any of her body. You don't recall making that statement?
I recall.
Now, you testified on direct that this was just a terrible experience for you. It destroyed you. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
And you and I both could agree Ms. Baker's death is a true tragedy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. On Thursday, January 25th, 2001, you went to Miss Ashleigh Peavy's house. Is that correct?
All right, so we've got a jury question coming.
What's
What if they're like, can we rewatch Chris Melton's testimony? Although I have it playing, I guess we could keep watching until I see the camera move.
And one.
Because it kind of took a while to
Yes, sir.
get in
Okay.
yesterday.
And this is 6 days after Miss Baker's death.
okay? Yes, sir.
Okay. And while at Miss Peavy's home on the 25th, which we've agreed is 6 days after Miss Baker's death, you called Miss Leah Tucker. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it was after 8:15 p.m. It was nighttime. Is that fair to say?
I can recall the time.
That's fair. But you set up a dinner with Miss Tucker at 5:30 p.m. the next day. Do you recall that?
This guy.
I don't
Also,
recall
let me
that,
say
but
thank you here. I got so wrapped up in the re-listen to that audio from Tabiz that Tabiz sent over. Such is life, Kelly. Thank you for the super from Australia. I will be overjoyed if Faust is found not guilty. Same. But also devastated Tara did not get the justice she deserved. Thank you for covering, Kat. I feel like Georgia just has a way with just not getting justice with some, at least the cases that I've tuned into, right? Like I haven't watched every Georgia case ever, but like YSL trial, Wolfenbarger, and this, like all Georgia cases that all just seem like, did we really even try? And I think that's really sad. I think that's sad. Everybody's predicting jury questions in the chat. Oh, man. Thank you again, Kelly. Let's see.
it sounds
Still no movement
she was
report.
a close past friend. Yes.
All right. And then on January 26th, despite your future fiance being brutally murdered, you called Holly Hufford. Would you agree with that?
I don't remember a Holly Hufford, but I do recall someone that was hurting, like as in anguish, but I don't recall who Holly Hufford is.
You remember somebody else hurting and being in anguish?
Everybody around us.
But you set up a lunch with Holly Hufford for Friday the 26th.
I don't recall.
Okay. But we can agree it wasn't Miss Holly Hufford's fiance that died. It was your fiance, right?
That's correct.
Do you recall Miss Ashleigh Peavy Hall joining you and Miss Hufford for lunch?
I remember us joining for lunch with someone. If this is Holly, okay, yes.
Okay. And during that lunch, you were flirting with Miss Hufford 7 days after your fiance had been brutally murdered.
Reflected? Is that what you asked?
Flirted.
No.
You did not?
No.
During that lunch, you were gently rubbing Miss Hufford's lower back.
No. I recall this individual having an emotional moment describing what she was going through. And I realized this person was in pain. And I reached over and I believe I did like a comforting touch to just acknowledge that it's okay. They're not okay, but we're to have her understand that we're in, we're all going through this, and it's going to be okay.
Would you be surprised if Ms. Hufford said that she was shocked by your actions during the lunch?
I would be surprised.
After lunch, Miss Ashleigh P.V. Hall and Chris Hall, they left. Do you recall that?
I say vaguely, okay.
And do you recall telling them that you were going to continue hanging out with Holly?
This is a long time ago. I don't.
You know what's extra weird about this is watching this after seeing it all the way through. We know that the state's redirect is just to jump on there and say, tell us about that porn tape that Tara found. And like, I didn't know that was coming when we first watched him talk about like rubbing all these girls back. I don't even know who it was, but yeah, I was rubbing her back because even though she was a stranger to me and I don't remember her, I had to comfort her in the moment. Like, it's kind of extra weird with that context that we only got because the state thought that was a good idea to redirect on. Like,
Real recall this, but it would sound like someone who is, yes, that I would try to comfort.
we are waiting on a jury question here.
Flirt with or
just gotta get 'em
try
in
to
the
set up a
courtroom.
date or anything. No.
Well, let me ask you this. On January 27, 2001, isn't it true you tried to comfort Ms. Hufford at 10 p.m. At 10 p.m.?
How so?
Did you contact Ms. Hufford after 10 p.m. on January 27, 2001?
I could believe I could have made a phone call.
Do you think it's appropriate to call women at past 10 p.m. at night after you just lost your fiance?
I'm going to object to the form of the question, argumentative.
All right,
Sustained.
camera's
Yes, ma'am.
moving. So let's pause and get on over here. Oh, nope, we're on the seal. The good old Dom Wiz seal. Can we nullify? Oh. All right, court sound isn't on.
All right, we're ready to go on the record. State of Georgia versus Edrick Faust, SU 24-00547. The jury has been deliberating since 9 o'clock this morning, and they have a question. This is question number 3, and it is to the judge. Video of Bingham and Howell interview of Edrick Faust requested. And certainly that's allowed. Any comment from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right, any comment, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Hill?
I would just ask, I know yesterday we spent about 4 hours listening to the interview overall. Can we figure out the portion? I have no issue with it. Just, is there a particular portion they would like to see? Or?
They haven't requested it, and so my practice is to let them direct the show. And if they have requested a certain portion, I'll address it. But they've just said video, so I'm going to let them see the video.
It's been chopped up multiple ways,
Sure.
but that's fine.
Well, they can only see the video that's in evidence, and only the parts that you all agreed and were in evidence. They don't get to see the video just as is. So certainly.
Understood.
Yes, Judge. And I think total between the segments that were published is about 10 minutes or so. So it's not, and I completely agree with Mr. Cruz to the extent that if there is a request for testimony of a witness, we'd certainly join in a request about directing that. But as far as this video, it's only probably about 10 minutes long.
All right, thank you. Do you need some time to get it set up? And do you have the notations that you had in court, which are the ones that we're excluding?
I do have
Okay.
notations, and if I could have just a minute
Sure.
with Mr. Cruz, the segments that we chopped up for the closing are actually pre-redacted, so we don't have to do the sliding back and forth stuff. But I'll show to Mr. Cruz.
Go ahead. Just let me know when y'all are ready. and do that. I'm going to kind of go back to my arraignment calendar and get done what I can. I have an announcement.
Oh my gosh, just let us hear. All right, okay. So she's just going back to her arraignment calendar while they do that. So I don't know. I think that could be good, that could be bad. I think it could be maybe there's one person or two people on the jury that are like, well, if he wasn't guilty, why didn't he testify? If he wasn't guilty, why would he say he never met the girl? Clearly he met the girl if his DNA is there. I think it's probably, and this is just my own speculation. I think we have to convince a few jurors. And I'm hoping it's the not guilty camp with their feet down saying, no, he wasn't lying and saying he didn't know the girl. He didn't know what they were asking him about because it's been 20 years and they hadn't even shown him a picture yet. So that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah, there could be a juror there like, oh, if you're asking for a lawyer, you're guilty. Like, yeah, I mean, I would be nervous with this kind of question. Yeah, and they don't really know the context of that week with the search warrants and all of that. I think it means there's at least one person on that jury that swears he's guilty. But if they're asking to see it, I mean, I think there's a disagreement. Yeah, they could just be hung up on when he said take me to jail, but that's our way of saying we're done talking. DB says Shades of Delphi, they asked to see Richard Allen's interrogation before saying guilty. Gloria says, I think they should see the whole video and not what's chopped up because what's chopped up is only what the state wants them to see. I mean, they might have chopped it up differently for their closing argument, but there were like agreed upon redactions between both parties. Jamie says that part of the trial is really the only part that had to do with him, so it makes sense. Positive QB, thanks for the 2, says good morning. They could have planted his DNA. I have some questions about the integrity of the DNA testing, also the labeling of the swabs in this case. Miss probably, if you count the playbacks from yesterday, this is at, I don't know, 8.5 hours-ish. Yep, they want to see the playback of the interrogation video. Let me put this up. All right, so there's a banner. There is a banner. Make that a ticker. Yeah, Shana says, take me to jail then is the stress and the want to get a hell away from Liz and Jeremy. Liz and Jeremy, it's normal to refresh people's recollection, except when it's the bad guy. Then we're not going to show him a photo of the person we're asking him about. That way we can get him denying that he knows the person and then act like it's a gotcha. I think Liz looked horrible in this interrogation. But the questions yesterday were considered two separate questions. So the DNA reports and the runback of Ricketts' testimony were 1 and 2. And I don't know specifically about who made it on the jury. I know it's supposed to be 8 men, right? 8 men, 4 women. All right, while we wait, we're going to continue watching something. Otherwise, we're just going to be sitting in speculation land. But we will.
Didn't
we
you
will
invite
watch when
Miss
they
Holly
watch.
Hufford out on the town when you called her past 10 p.m. that night?
Honestly, I don't recall the conversation.
Now, again, we discussed how much, or you told this jury how much Miss Baker meant to you, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you recall discussing with law enforcement Miss Baker's law school memorial service that was held shortly after her death?
Yes.
And that discussion occurred on June 20th, 2001.
Okay. I'm not sure at the time.
Do you have any reason to disagree that it occurred on June 20th?
No.
Instead of attending Miss Baker's law school memorial service, you went to a country concert, correct?
Correct.
And you knew about the memorial service 4 days before the concert, is that correct?
Correct.
And your stated reason for not going to your fiance's candlelight vigil was because another woman talked you into going into a concert with her. Is that correct?
Correct. Can I give further explanation?
Well, I have a question for you. That woman was Lauren Sherling.
I think the witness is asking for some direction.
Right. Well, and I think the record needs to reflect the witness was asking the court a question, which is not necessarily appropriate, but based on the state's interjection, I will say this with regard to all witnesses. All witnesses must answer the question if they can, yes or no, and they are entitled to explain. And so I'll let you ask the question again, and if this witness has the opportunity to explain, feels he needs to, he is allowed to by law. But you may ask the question again, Mr. Cruz.
Yes, ma'am. He answered my question, Your Honor. So the question I do have for you is that woman was Lauren
Object, Your Honor. I think that the witness is allowed to explain his answer.
And I would ask you to go back to the former question, Mr. Cruz, and we'll go from there.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead, sir.
The question that I asked you, Mr. Melton, your reason for not going to the candlelight visual was because another woman talked you into going to the concert.
No, that's not accurate.
Okay. That woman was Lauren Sherling.
That is accurate.
Okay.
Can I explain? Do I have the opportunity? Do I?
All witnesses are allowed to answer yes or no and explain their answer if they choose to do so.
Okay. Well, I choose to explain. Lauren was one of Tara's closest friends that loved
Which makes it weirder.
Tara.
Which makes it weirder.
She worked with her at the law firm in Athens.
And
That's
yet
how they
both don't
met.
go to the law firm's
They
candle
became
vigil.
very close. Along the way, we all became close. We were all extremely grieving. There was a time that we did not see each other as far as physically in proximity, but she would reach out periodically and check in to see how I was doing. She was a very dear friend. She is one of the only few that actually would reach out to see how I was feeling, and then we would converse and we would talk about our feelings of the situation. At the time of this vigil, I did not know anybody at the law firm. I was grieving. I also was feeling extraordinarily uncomfortable with any presence I was of anybody that knew the situation. I would walk in to any room or any environment, and then people would separate, create distance, look at me with angry eyes. So I did not feel comfortable being there. As much as I wanted to show respect, as much as respect as I had.
Overruled.
So with that being said, Lauren had an opportunity when she called me up. She had an opportunity to create in a different environment for myself. She said, maybe you need a different headspace, come out and try to enjoy something. And so she invited me along with her group of friends, and she had had these tickets for an extended period of time. And she had one, and she says, if you want to join us and try to get a different headspace, maybe this environment will make you feel better. And so I accepted, and genuinely, it did make me feel better.
Did you rub someone's back?
So to my question in regards to, and your reason for not going to the candlelight visual was because another woman talked you into going into a concert with her. Your answer was no. Is that right?
You stated that she talked me into going. She didn't. She heard me through, and I believe that it's more of she gave me permission to accept that it's okay, Chris, it's okay that you can try to do something to feel better about your situation.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Melton. I think you and I could agree you're a very charismatic person. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the way you were talking with law enforcement when they were interviewing you? Very charismatic person. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the way you were talking with law enforcement when they were interviewing you?
I wasn't aware if I was. I mean, this is my demeanor.
Sure.
I mean,
when the state and yourself was going over your testimony, is this how you were talking with the state as well?
I'm unaware. I mean, this is who I am.
But I would like you to answer my question with a yes or a no. Okay.
Okay. I'll try my best.
The reason you didn't go to the candlelight visual is because Ms. Sherling told you you shouldn't go. Is that a better way to put it?
No.
Mr. Melton, this isn't your first time discussing the candlelight visual, is it?
It's been.
Okay. And your statement was, or do you recall making the statement, and which even Lauren didn't go to that when she was part of that. Even the people she worked with were going to be speaking there at the memorial service. And they suggested to her that she shouldn't come, and I talked to her about it, and she's like, it's not something you want to be at, Chris. It's just gonna, not trying to talk me out of it, just trying to tell me how the situation is going to be. But I didn't go to that. Is that accurate?
If that's on a recording and you have it verbatim, but I don't.
Have it verbatim.
My question is that accurate? Yes or no?
I don't think it's completely accurate.
I move to introduce Defense Exhibit 43, which is the June 20th, 2001 audio recording between Mr. Melton and law enforcement. Now I ask the Honorable Court to introduce timestamp. .425 to 455, Your Honor.
Did you have a number of that exhibit?
Defense Exhibit 43.
43. And I'm sorry, say it one more time, the time stamp.
4 minutes and 25 seconds to 4 minutes and 55 seconds.
All right, thank you. And you're asking to introduce that?
Just that portion, correct.
All right. Any objection, Mr. Yellowman-Shilley?
There's been no foundation laid for the recording, Judge. So that is our objection based on foundation.
All right, I'll sustain that objection. Allow you to lay a foundation, Mr.
Sure. Excuse me. You recall talking to law enforcement in regards to going to a country concert with Lauren Sherling. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you hadn't heard this out of your recording. Would you like to hear this out of your recording?
In the section that you're referring to, I would say yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Your Honor, this is what I would ask. I would ask if I could allow the witness outside the presence of the jury to listen to that portion of the recording to determine if he recognizes that recording, Your Honor.
All right, any objection, Mr. Yellowman-Shilley?
No, Judge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have you leave for a moment. Don't discuss the case. This is another break, and we will take a lunch.
They're still on the seal for live court. Sitting there with his eyes closed. Sylvia says she gets a good vibe from the jury foreperson.
Okay.
Yeah, the question, Judge, I'm going to have to put it on a flash drive. The disc is blank for me.
Well, all right.
Is that okay?
Are you able to do that? I mean,
I am going to have a flash drive.
all right. How long does that take?
45 seconds.
Oh, great. Okay.
Playing minute mark 425 through 455.
Days probably before the concert, in which even Lauren didn't go to that when she was part of that. Even the people she worked with were going to be speaking there at the memorial service, and they suggested to her that she shouldn't come. And I talked to her about it, and she's like, "It's not something you want to be at, Chris. It's just going to not trying to talk me out of it, just trying to tell me how the situation's going to be." But I didn't go to that, and we discussed. I even talked to Lauren about it the night before discussing if I should go to that instead of the concert, and saying, hey, you know, I feel I should be there too. She's like, well, she told me what the people at the law firm told her what it was going to be.
Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Is that refresh your recollection?
Yes, sir.
Is that in the recording?
Yes, sir.
Ready for the jury? All right, could you bring the jury in, please? Seated.
You would agree that you and Ms. Sherling agreed to go to the country concert over going to Ms. Baker's candlelight visual. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, at this concert that you went with Ms. Sherling, that you went with Ms. Sherling to, there was a total of 6 people. Is that correct?
Sounds accurate.
Okay. It was Ms. Sherling's mother and father. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It was her neighbors, which was a guy and a girl couple.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this was a country concert at Turner Field.
Correct.
Okay. So you and Ms. Sherling left Athens when Ms. Baker is having a candlelight visual to travel to Atlanta to go to a country concert.
I don't remember where we left from. I don't recall that. But I do recall going to a concert, and it was in an open stadium, and you get to walk around and listen to country music.
You remember that, but you don't remember whether Ms. Baker told you she was going to be alone the day before she died.
I didn't object to ask and answer.
Sustained.
Chris, the week before Tara died, there was an incident between you and her that jeopardized your relationship with her. Do you remember that?
I remember being asked about the question.
Okay. Do you remember the incident?
I remember nothing happening the week before, but I had answered a question to a detective, and I remember telling there was an incident that always stayed in the forefront of my mind that I realized I had hurt her feelings, but I didn't realize at that time the question was the week before, because the incident that I explained happened months before.
All right, so your testimony today, Mr. Melvin, is the incident that occurred before Ms. Baker died was actually an incident that occurred months before Ms. Baker died.
Where he had asked, he goes, has there ever been a time that you felt that something you had done jeopardized your relationship? I think that's close to accurate, but my answer that I gave was off the forefront of my mind that it had always stayed there, but it did not happen the week before. I stated that in questioning, but it was not the week before.
Give you time sentence. I just want to make sure we're clear on the question that I asked, okay? The week before Ms. Baker's death, there was an incident between you and her that jeopardized you two's relationship.
No, sir.
This isn't the first time you've been asked that question, is it?
No, sir.
On June 20th, 2001, law enforcement asked you that question. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And your statement to law enforcement was, yes, I remember that incident. Is that correct?
No, I remember I started telling about an incident.
Your Honor, I would ask to play minute mark 1 through 650 of Defense Exhibit 3.
Any objection, Mr. Yeldon?
43 in evidence?
Correct. Well, we did this. We did the times. The timestamp is.
That one time, well.
And forgive me if I didn't move to it.
It's not in evidence.
Please forgive me.
It is not in evidence. So is there an objection to, and we can talk about that later. Let's talk about the request that Mr. Cruz has just made. Do you have an objection to what he has just requested?
Just a foundation, Your Honor.
I will sustain that objection and allow you to lay a foundation.
Okay. And you've already stated that you remember talking to law enforcement about that. Is that right?
I do.
Okay. And you two specifically discussed the incident between you and Tara the week before she died. Is that right?
He asked the question, but I'm not hearing it correctly at the time. It was an incident that had happened in the past, but not the week before. But he does ask that question.
So let me do it this way. Did you admit to law enforcement that an incident occurred with you and Miss Baker the week before her death?
I would have to say yes, but it wasn't accurate.
Well, we can't have it both ways. First, you said it was months ago.
I'm going to object about editorializing about the witness's answers.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
Sure.
Mr. Cruz, just stick to your question.
Yes, ma'am. Your original answer was that this incident was months ago. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. But your answer now is you do remember the incident the week before she passed away.
I remember the question he asked, and and what I had described did not happen the week before.
But you told law enforcement it happened the week before.
He asked the question, and I gave an answer, but it was not the week before.
My specific... Oh, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. My specific question is, did you tell law enforcement that the incident happened the week before her death?
He asked that question, and I did not say that it happened the week before. I went into an explanation of what, in my forefront of my mind, had at some point jeopardized our relationship.
Your Honor, I would renew my request to introduce minute marks 621 through 650 into evidence as a prior inconsistent statement.
Mr. Yelman-Chili.
Well, there were a lot of questions. None of them had to do with the foundation for the exhibit, however, which was my objection.
I think that's correct. So I'll sustain the objection and allow you to lay a foundation, Mr. Cruz.
You haven't heard what's on this flash drive, have you?
On the flash drive?
Right. You haven't heard what's on this flash drive, correct?
I don't know what's on your flash drive.
Let me ask you this. Did the state play your interviews for you?
I have heard the interviews.
They played them for you?
I have heard the interviews.
Okay. So you're familiar with your interviews with law enforcement, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And you are familiar with the interview that took place where you discussed with law enforcement the incident that took place the week before her death, is that right?
Yes, I'm familiar with that question.
Okay. And the reason you're familiar with it is because you've heard the interview, correct?
Well, I'm familiar with the question from originally, plus after 25 years, I think it's fair to say that I need to hear what I said on recording.
So you would like to hear it to determine if it's a fair and accurate rendition of...
Back to the courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr.
I
Cruz?
believe so.
We have.
All right, very good. You can bring the jury out. Thank you. Thank you. You all may be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for being here on time again this morning. Your third question, video of Bigham and Howell interview of Edrick Faust requested. We are going to play that for you. It took us a minute to make sure we had the right exhibit, so I appreciate your patience. Mr. Yelman-Chili, are you ready to play that?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, you ready, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Yelman-Chili.
Good morning, Ms. Faust. Hey, I'm Liz Bigham. I'm with the GBI. This is Jeremy Howell with the GBI. You want to take those off for right now? We need to sit, talk to you, and do some things, but are you going to act right?
Well, definitely.
Are you sure? Okay. Do you have my handcuff keys back in there, so I can go grab it. Do you have one on you?
Hang on.
Okay. Can you use some water or anything?
I'm cool.
You sure? You use the restroom?
I just did. Already.
I'm sorry?
I used the restroom.
Oh, you just used the restroom. Okay.
Let's see, I think I got the right key for these. Okay, let's go back down this a ways. There it is. Okay. Sorry, I don't have a key for that. There you go.
Here's that fridge, just in case you want something.
There you go.
All right. So there's a little bit of paperwork we got to do first, and you can get some information from you, obviously name and all that stuff. And then we'll kind of go over here. Go ahead. So you've got, I think it's about 9 warrants that we've got for you today. I'll explain everything to you. Let me get this filled out and stuff, and then we'll go over everything together, okay? I mean, obviously we're going to want to talk to you about this stuff, and we can kind of go into all that, but we got to get through this first. All right? It's Edrick or Edrick?
Edrick.
Edrick, E-D-R-I-C-K?
Correct.
And what's your middle name?
Lamont.
L-A?
M-O-N-T.
All right. And F-A-U-S-T?
Correct.
How old are you, Mr. Faust?
I am 48.
Are you sure? Okay. And what's a good home address for you?
My home address is, well, I got a P.O. box number.
What's like your physical home address?
350 Cooper Road.
350 Cooper Road?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. That's in Athens?
Yes, 05.
30605?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and how far did you go to school, Mr. Faust?
I graduated from high school diploma.
High school diploma?
Yeah.
Okay.
See the shows? Actually, I went to see the show, but I went back to continue. I got a diploma in another school. Okay. Got another further down the road. Gotcha.
All right, you can read and write, I'm assuming. Okay, so let's go over this together. All right, it's 6:06 now. So today is May 9th, 2024. The time is 6:06 p.m., and we're at the, I wrote ACCPD, but Athens-Clarke County Police Department. Your name is Edrick Lamont Faust, and you are 48 years old. Your address is 350 Cooper Road, Athens, Georgia, 30605, and you completed the 12th grade in school.
Yes.
You know that Liz Baden, which is me, and Jeremy Howell over there are special agents with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Okay.
All right? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say is used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned. If you can't afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any question if you wish.
Okay.
And you can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. Do you understand all of that?
I do.
Okay. And you understand your rights and having these rights in mind, you're willing to talk to law enforcement officers, which are Jeremy and I. You've not been threatened. Has anyone threatened you in any way, shape, or form in law enforcement?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody threatened you? I know we weren't there when they arrested you, so I just want to make sure that nobody out there threatened you in any way. You've not been promised anything. Has anyone ever promised you anything in reference to this? And then have you been forced in any way to answer any questions or make any statements, maybe decide what's your name, whatever? Okay. So if you want to talk to us, you can sign right there. I'll sign underneath you, and Jeremy will sign underneath me. Thank you.
Yeah.
So let me just get a little bit of information from you first. Obviously, we got Cooper Road. How long have you lived at Cooper Road?
Shit, I've been in Cooper Road about 40 years.
40 years? Okay.
40.
40?
40.
Okay. Do you own that house?
No.
Okay, who lived there? Or whose house was it?
Actually, it's my stepmom. She passed away a month ago.
Oh, no, what happened?
She had a lung cancer or something like that.
Aw.
This your stepmother, you said?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And what is her name?
Her name was Geraldine Hughes.
Geraldine Hughes? And she passed away a month ago. So are you still living there? Did she own it?
Yeah, she owned her home, yeah.
Okay. Are you still living there?
I'm kind of like slow. I've been like slow hunting. I've been living with my cousin here and there, so.
Where does your cousin live?
I've been living actually in Athens-Clarke County.
Oh, okay. Where's that
Now, Athens-Clarke,
And Mary Best in Santa Claus.
Sandy Cross and Mary Best Road? Where do you lay your head at night?
Well, I've been really just living here and there. I've been from here and there and just over girl house, over here and over there.
Over here and over there in the girl's house.
Yeah.
All right. So where's the girl live? Someone you don't want to talk about?
No.
That's fine. We don't have to. And what's your date of birth?
9/6/85.
Okay. And you're employed, I'm assuming, at Athens Finance?
Correct.
Is that your business, or do you just work for them?
My business.
It's your business? What do you do there? Besides mobile detailing, pressure washing?
That's what I do.
Pretty much that?
Cool.
Do you have, like, regular work, or is it just contracted work here and there?
I do regular work, whatever. I just work.
Okay. All right.
How long you had that business?
I've been in the business myself I've been in business for myself, working on my own for like 4 or 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
Okay. What's a good number to get you at?
This is?
That one's your number?
Yeah.
706-612-6808. That's the best number to get you at?
Yeah.
Is that your cell?
Oh.
Okay. Hey, how are you?
Oh. Uh-oh.
Okay. Who lived at you with Cooper, or who lived at Cooper Road with you?
At Cooper Road.
Uh-huh.
Actually, back then, 20 years ago, May 28, 2003.
No, 23 years ago. We're talking about 2001.
23 years ago.
Yep, 2001. It was obviously Miss Hughes, right?
I was living with her, yes. But
Okay.
I don't know what relationship I was in or who I was with back then.
Okay. So Miss Hughes lived there.
Yes.
Did you have any brothers or sisters?
My brothers and sisters.
Okay.
My dad was alive back then, yeah.
But was he at Cooper, or did he live in Overbrook?
My dad has been around. He's just been around here and there, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who else lived in the house with you? Who lived with y'all back then?
As far as I know of.
Just y'all two?
Yeah.
Okay. And she was your stepmama?
My stepmom.
Where's your real mama?
She passed away 6 years ago.
Oh, okay. You weren't ever really close to her. You were close to your stepmama?
Actually, I've been cool with my stepmom. She raised me.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Were you there when they were building it and stuff like that?
Yeah. I was in that area. I'm always in that area. I go in that area every day.
Do you really?
Yeah. I call it my home. That's considered my home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you physically live at Cooper Road anymore?
Oh, you can go there right now and everybody will know me. They know.
No. I meant in the house. Like at 350, you physically live there anymore. Okay. Did it get passed down to you? Or?
Well, my stepmother passed away.
Okay.
When she passed away, when she got sick, she told me she didn't need me anymore. Her niece lived in Rock Spring. She ended up getting the house. She bought the house from her, and she ended up moving up to Willow Miss across the street over here.
Okay.
And she lived over there when she passed away.
So nobody in your family lives there?
It's her niece live in the house right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she just passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when that neighborhood was development was being built, I guess, did you ever go walk around there, or what was that built for, I guess?
I don't know.
Was it mostly like college students, or was it regular people, older Athens people, older
back
people?
then it was real settled, but now it's not like that anymore. It's like real, right now it's like the ghetto, to be honest with you.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's pretty rough over there now.
Why is it rough over there?
It seems like everybody that got pulled from the other side of town, they start getting rid of like housing, the projects and all that. They give them vouchers and they start moving over on this side.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not like it used to be. It used to be real quiet, so.
Okay. So back then, who was moving in there? What was it primarily?
I say college students and probably some kids. I'll say that because you didn't really see a whole lot of black people in that area.
You did not back then?
Nah.
Okay.
What was there before they built all that?
It was wood. It was old car. All this on Lexington Road, Walmart, everything on Lexington Road was nothing but wood.
Wow.
The Lord of Stevens, there's a church, Lord of Stevens, Walmart, all that was wood when I was a little boy.
Wow, you seen some change.
I really have. And it's, I mean, from there, there's another house over here in this neighborhood, all this land over here where this Dollar Tree and the skate park and all that. All that was nothing but wood back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, all that wood.
Were you ever dating anybody else around that time on the side or quietly?
I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say that.
I'm not going to talk to them.
I mean, I ain't no.
And Brandon was the primary one, right?
She was primary,
10 years, okay?
No, I don't do no
But
stuff.
what about anybody else, like anyone at Walmart or Conagra with a perfect polish? I keep wanting to call it Sparkle, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
But-
I don't, let me tell you something. I don't have some females in my day, so.
It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
But were you juggling any other females around that time? Seeing anybody on the side?
I probably would. I probably was. I don't have a lot of females in my day.
Okay. Do you date white girls, or do you date black girls, or does it
I
matter?
have dated white chick. I have dated one white chick, but it didn't work out.
One white chick?
Yeah.
Who is she?
Her name was Rita Spears. And that was it. She's from she's from, where are you from? She's from Carnesville.
How'd you meet her?
I met her at one night at the bar.
Why didn't it work out?
Because she bipolar and she wanted me to be with her and call her all the time.
Oh, okay.
And she lived up in Carnesville, Franklin County?
Yeah. I don't really, I mean, I don't have no ethic about females, the race, no color, nothing like that.
Right.
I talk to everybody. I'm cool with everybody. You can go down here right now and ask anybody about me when it comes to communication. I communicate if that's my I would be business.
Sure.
I don't mess around, man. I mean, I just treat everybody the same.
Okay. Did you ever date anyone over in that Deer Park area?
No.
Any college students, anything like that?
I ain't know nobody over there.
You didn't know nobody over there? Never made friends? You just didn't talk to everybody?
I mean, I talk to everybody, but that was my cup of tea to go over there and deal with those people. Those people up across the street. I ain't go over there. I ain't nothing about over there.
Why not?
I ain't know about over there. That wasn't my thing. I wanted to see my stepmama.
Yeah.
Or whatever. That was it. I mean, this is a neighborhood that just came up. I don't know anything about that neighborhood.
Okay.
And I don't have no deals over there, period.
Anybody from over there ever come looking for you? Just to be friends with or hang out with?
Back then, man, it was a play everybody like, man, it's just a play that payment that's coming up. And everybody feel like it's high or it's expensive. Anybody going over there, so.
That's how it was kind of perceived?
Yeah, everybody go over there.
We've got these warrants. They are for a myriad of charges that range from arson to murder.
What? For me?
And that's what you're talking about, this incident back in 2001. I think there's 9 different warrants, and that's kind of why we wanted to come in here and talk to you about this, get your side of the story, kind of hash everything that happened, and obviously I think you can pick up on the fact that it involves that area, that park area or whatever. But in my opinion, I mean, you can see that I've done research, right? Area I know, we know about you, stuff like that. But when we're talking about that and we're talking about these charges, there's got to be kind of an explanation as to why you were there, right? And that's kind of what I'm trying to talk to you about. So tell me about why you would be there in that Deer Park area back in 2001 and kind of, engaging in all these sorts of things at one of those duplexes.
That spot over there, that's a place I've never been to. I started going there throughout the years, when people start, other people, when we started moving in, then But back in the day, the only reason I go like in the evening time, and it's every blue moon, I gotta get my bike in the evening time, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the evening. I may ride through the whole, you know what I'm saying, ride from one thing. Yeah, the whole thing other there. I don't put in on this. I ain't got no business over there. That was my turf. My turf was in our neighborhood where we used to be, because everybody in the neighborhood
on the other side.
The whole all the way on East Meadow and all the way in Morning View. Okay. I don't have no business over there dealing with them over there, because that ain't my cup of tea. They ain't gonna drink over there, and I don't drink with them, so we over here drinking. If one of my cousins come in and pick me up, and we go over to ride out, they'll say, I don't have no business over there fooling them people that they ain't doing that to me.
And you said that you rode a bike?
Every once in a while, I may ride a bike. Yeah, if I went over there, but I didn't deal with that sex.
Would you ever walk over? Just walk over there?
I have no business over there. This is my neighborhood right here. I don't have other people over there.
Across Cooper Road.
Exactly. I don't have no business over there, period.
And you said around 3 or 4 in the afternoon?
I said, yes. I went over there. If I was like that, I would go in. But I have no reason going over there and messing with no people, period. No reason whatsoever.
And you never...
And I think a critical part of that is they're asking about the house. So for him to say, I don't deal with anything over there, if he never went to the house, that checks out.
Walking over there, anything like that?
No, I don't do no walking over there for what? I ain't got no business over there walking. No.
Well, you would ride your bike around, though.
I mean, I said, if I went over there, if this so happened back in the day, if I just rode my bike, I would ride around and see, I ain't got no business walking over there. If some people were jogging or walking, I ain't have no business singing them to them and nothing.
Okay.
I don't, that ain't my gig over there. If I went anywhere, I probably would go to it. Back then, I would go to the hood in Athens-Clarke. That's probably where I'd be at.
Would you have cut through Deer Park to get to Athens-Clarke?
No, it's not that way. It's
the other way?
Different direction. I don't go that way. I don't have nothing to do with these people over here. I go over in the hood and kick it, but I'll be in my neighborhood. I ain't got no business over there dealing with them people. They ain't getting nothing to me. I don't even know nothing about them. I ain't finna mess with them.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
So how do you, I guess, so I got some warrant for me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm in jail?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I told you were under arrest.
I mean...
That's not a new revelation. They told you were under arrest.
That's a murder?
It's for...
Do you remember any kind of incident that happened back then?
Man, I don't even deal with over there.
No. You don't remember seeing some police activity over in that neighborhood back in 2001? Kind of a big deal.
It was for a while, too, I think.
Yeah.
Like days and days.
You don't remember anything happening back there?
Let me see. Because I used to come over there and see my stepmama, but I ain't really, you know what I'm saying, deal around too tough in it.
Okay. It's kind of like one of the biggest deals that's happened in Athens.
A murder?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, some girl.
Did you know her? No connection to her?
No, never. I never saw her. The only time I see that, the only time I seen that was in the newspaper. I ain't never seen that or nothing else about that girl. I don't even know her. I don't know nothing about her.
You know what she looks like?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No.
You've never talked to her?
No, never.
Okay.
Don't even know her. Don't know nothing about her at all. All I know is that she was a law student at the UGA, and she stayed on Fawn Drive.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get to see it, but remember, Cruz did admit to like an article that didn't look like it had any pictures, as well as an article that looked like it had pictures, as well as a different photo in addition to the main photo that was used in all the press coverage. I think when Liz was on the stand.
Throughout the years, I know that right there they got that's where the rent office is right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's where my blood stayed right beside it.
Your buddy stayed right beside us?
That was after the fact that when we started moving in, when black people started moving in, my papa stayed right beside him.
Oh, okay.
Right beside the actual building. This right here been like in 2017 to 18. Okay. Not no recent thing. You know?
Oh, okay.
No, that's no recent.
Okay.
Did you know any of her roommates?
I don't know.
Do you know any of their boyfriends or anything like that?
No, nobody will, period.
Did you ever go over there to buy alcohol?
No.
Anything like that?
Bro, listen, I don't know nothing about those people over there. I don't know nothing about that. But they said that happened. I heard about that, it stayed up in the air for a while, you're right.
And you never...
DNA?
Yeah.
My DNA? Man.
It's been a long time. We've made so many advancements and things.
Man.
If you can help us understand why your DNA's in that house, help us. I don't want to put your finger on
that house.
Help us. I'm here to exonerate just as much as I am to hunt.
Y'all come on, take some DNA, right?
All right, is that the end? All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll rise and go into the jury room and continue your deliberations. Thank you.
How would you feel if that's like you saw that and it was chopped up? Now, understand that there are parts that both parties wanted redacted, but if you were trying to, if the jury has questions that pertain to this interview, and I mean, this is really like the only little bit that they can see of Faust. Like, the evidence relating to Faust is stepmom's house at 350 Cooper Road, this interview, and the DNA
recess
reports.
or at ease. I'm sorry.
I have an objection as well. We didn't instruct the jury as you instructed the jury yesterday in regards to evidence that they viewed twice. I would ask that the jury is instructed on that with that instruction.
Yes, sir. I will do that, Mr. Sir.
Twice, I would ask that the jury is instructed on
A
that
note?
with that instruction.
Yes, sir. I will do that, Mr. Cruz. There's another question, and it was done, I think, while they were watching. So it is question number 4. So we're not at ease. And it says, to judge, jury requests to view State's Exhibit 167. Do we know what that
I
is?
don't recall off the top of my
I don't either.
That is.
Okay. Before I call them back out and present 167, it may be something that needs to be done here. Let's take a look at what that is first.
Mr. Bolden believes it's one of the crime lab reports.
Okay. Let's take a look at it, make sure we know what it is.
I think that's from Zykeria Sims. Maybe something that came in through Ashleigh Hinkle.
Yeah.
On what 167 is.
We do.
Okay. And what is 167?
This is DNA report from May 2nd, 2024.
All right. State agrees. That's what. All right. And any comment on having the jury come out to review 167?
Your Honor, yes, Your Honor. And yesterday we had
Truly,
the jury come out and all look at it kind of individually. I did do a little bit of research last night, and there is some case law. I'd have to find
can't
it
change
again.
now.
That would stand for the proposition that this does not violate continuing witness concerns, and it could just go back. And if you could give me 5-10 minutes.
But don't change it now.
The reason it violates continuing witness is because they had the expert testify based on this document or the contents of this document. they would have introduced the document without testimony regarding the document, it would not violate the continuing witness. But the testimony was pretty much what was on the document, and that's the reason it violates the continuing witness rule.
I'll take a look at the case law, but for now, they've just asked to see it, and I'm going to bring them out. So as long as we have an agreement on what 167 is, I'm going to bring them out. Actually, if you'll hand it to me first, let me just make sure I've taken a look at it. All right. If you could bring the jury out, please. Thank you.
All right, so for May 2nd, I have in my notes, this is Ashleigh Hinkle, True Allele. She said she used True Allele, used reference samples to compare. The first report was May 2nd, 2024 without Faust. Then she ended up issuing a second report with Tara, Chris, and Edrick. And let's see. But I'm not sure if those were both generated May 2nd, which one would be considered Exhibit 167, because I didn't note that part. The second report was the True Allele test with Faust's known sample, and I believe that must have been not May 2nd, because that's why they wanted to do the traffic stop on May 8th. So May 2nd might be when they didn't have Edrick in there. And they were comparing, let's see. These are for the 3 swabs, 2B, 2I, 2J. So I would imagine that's all part of the report, whether it's before they identified Faust or not, all 3 swabs. Okay, let's see. And then there's testimony about the May 2nd report with Bigham that's how she knew by the May 5th interview with Melton that she needed to separate him. And that's what I've got on May 2nd report in my notes.
Asked to see 167. You all may be seated. Thank you. And
this is before Pure
answer to
Gold,
that-
guys. So this is when they still thought the 2 swabs were oral swabs. They didn't send the stuff out to Pure Gold until after Faust was already arrested. They sent the stuff to the labs in September of 2024.
Is yes, and I'm going to give this to our bailiff, Mr. Terrell, and you can look at it as you did yesterday. Just pass it along when you're finished. There is another question from you all, which I'm going to label number 5, and I will handle that in just a moment. Thank you.
And we have a question 5. Dang, tell us what question 5 is. Tell the viewers at home. Question 4, they're looking for State's Exhibit 167, and it was described as being the May 2nd report. So it would have been what Ashleigh Hinkle was talking about with True Allele, where they were looking at the major and minor profiles, and they weren't yet, of the 3 swabs, and they weren't yet able to identify Faust. Because they didn't take the swab, they didn't actually get a better DNA sample until after the traffic stop and then the arrest. Yeah, Tatum says maybe they're trying to find the semen. I'm not sure if that would have been on the true allele report. But I want to hear question 5 because I wonder if they're going to ask for like, all right, we want the May 2nd, and then we want to see whatever date the next report came out. Or maybe question 5 will be like totally random. What if it's like, let's rewatch the Fire Guy's testimony? Thank you for being a member for 4 months too, Tatum. Yeah, and I still think I stand 10 toes down that Yamoncelli lied in his closing argument about how they corrected the defense on the semen. They did not. They tried to, and then the witness, Zakiria Sims, had to correct what was being said. Yeah, that's gross. I could sneeze next to you and you get my DNA in your mouth. Ugh. Ugh. Grody, grody. The absolute grodiness. Factual lie. I believe there were actually 2 minor profiles that they said were they couldn't identify for 2I. And again, if they were using those Keogen tests that were under detecting multiple profiles, I mean, there could be problems for all sorts of reasons. Let's see. Where is Zakiria Sims' testimony? Ashleigh Hinkle. Shout out my notes. Cross-examination is Zakiria Sims. Did you test the DNA for sperm? No. Were you aware GBI did conduct a sperm test? I was not aware. Another GBI agent, which was Jen Corsi, tested for semen and partial semen, and the results were negative. Let's see what else. Yeah, 2I, let's see. Kind of sucks because they kept going back to different swabs at different points in time and questioning. Yeah, so the second fraction from the 2I oral swab to Faust, no conclusive evidence could be made about minor genotype, couldn't identify those profiles, and I put 2. So 2I has the additional profiles. Where'd my banner go? Well, I guess we'll leave this up for now because they're still on jury question 4. Okay, that's a long banner, but it's there. Nope, but they're reviewing a report from May 2nd. Before they had Faust DNA, and then they have a jury question 5, but we don't know what jury question 5 is yet. I think it'd be ridiculous if they tried to try Chris Melton after this. Like, they would just look like idiots. I think a defense attorney for Chris Melton would have a field day. Like, not only did you guys supposedly clear him, but your GBI Cold Case Unit was adamant on the stand that he had an alibi, even after evaluating new evidence. So imagine a defense attorney for Chris Melton having a field day using Liz Bingham's testimony from this trial if Chris Melton was ever taken to trial. Like, it would just be a field day. And again, I mean, they're going to point like, hey, someone else's DNA is present. I think there'd be the reasonable doubt where the juries could say, we don't know for sure whose DNA is the one we think is the person who burned down the house. So, like, it would just be such a... And don't get me wrong, you know, I'd be interested in just seeing it for the sake of seeing them try. Like, just imagine Liz Bingham on the stand being questioned about what she said at this trial. I think they came in for these questions because we had to wait for everyone to get in. Yeah, what made you decide to stop defending Chris Melton? Wait, which lawyer, Sirach? Oh, I don't know. There's a Dr. Waller with a PhD. The jury list is on. I mean, all the names are on the jury list. I mean, on the docket. Because that's not secret and sealed for whatever reason. At least it was there. I don't see it now. But I don't remember exactly what it was called. Yeah, I don't know if they pulled it down. Maybe it was this. No, I don't think it was this, though. I think it was something else, and now it says no image. Yeah, I don't know. That's correct, Tatum, even though Yalmancelli said otherwise in his in his closing. Yeah, I think the time of death is like really where but you guys know me from watching other trials. I want the time, I want the phone data. Um, and here we don't have, it's too old for like cell phone and social media stuff. And then we couldn't get the landline phone records in. So that's kind of off the table. Um, time of death is just the fire could have smoldered for a while because of maybe the HVAC wasn't running, so there was no good ventilation, the bedroom door was closed, and it was humid conditions, still early in the morning. But that just tells us that the fire probably didn't start at 11:20 and someone's calling 911 a few minutes later because the fire is already blazing. So the prosecutor was saying, hey, we actually found some case law where these types of exhibits that the jury's asking for could be something that goes back with the jury. And the judge is like, well, they're going to come out. So they're in the court right now, I think, reviewing it. We just can't watch them do it. They're not going to show the jury. But they're probably like passing around the paper. Yeah, and honestly, did the attack happen at the same time as the fire? I mean, the closest thing there is soot in the airways, but again, the ME was not comfortable saying that that was, a contributing factor in the cause of death. Yeah, I don't know. Nope, we did not have an estimated time of death. Which is kind of weird. Yes, the spontaneous. I gotta go read more about that because that's crazy. The spontaneous combustion. Yeah, so I'm Sean Street says, well, how about that? How was there drainage and no sperm? And that's something that Hinkle was asked about. And that's where we ended up getting the new theory of the insertion, like a repenetration, moving the DNA. So how do we make this happen without drainage? Well, the state seems to be arguing that Melton's DNA got in the anus because Faust sodomized Tara Baker. But the thing is, Faust DNA, how did his DNA get on swab 2I and 2J, but isn't on the rectal swab if he's supposed to be the reason, if penetration now has to be the explanation? So to me, that's something that just, if you want to say the DNA is the gotcha, that part really doesn't make sense. And I also don't buy the whole, when something's degrading, you can reset and start over after something's already been degrading and go back to a fully undegraded sample with a reinsertion. It doesn't make sense. Like, that's just not how science works. So, yeah, the reset to me, I agree, it sounds ridiculous. Just crazy. That's why I'm telling you, it's ridiculous, but I really think it was a good thing to say over and over in closing, don't forget the anus, because that anal swab just like Ashleigh Hinkle's theory. And remember, GBI, they work for the state. They work for the state. And maybe that doesn't mean somebody that's working for GBI sits there and goes, aha, I'm gonna help them secure prosecutions by any means necessary. The work I do is the means to the end. I'm not saying that's how people go about their daily work. But when you're working at a state agency, your inputs are coming from the state. The things that you're being asked to look for, it's already filtered through the lens of what someone else that works for the state is looking to discern, looking to determine. So it's a closed system. Oh, we can see you, Dizzy. Dizzy. Sorry. So we're waiting. I think they're reviewing Exhibit 167 still. And then they have another question that they haven't read yet. And if you missed it, Dizzy, you were here when they replayed the interview. Question 3 was they wanted to see the 10-minute-ish chopped up interview with Faust, Liz, and Jeremy. And to be clear, in their note, the jury said Bingham and Howell. They did not use first names. A new theory has entered the chat. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Q5 is like, we want to see like this other exhibit. Yeah, I don't know. There is I can't look at the first name. That is what I had heard people say, that Dr. Waller is like an assistant dean. I don't remember what the first name was for Dr. Waller. Miss Janet Demeanor says, I think they're trying to make heads or tails of the evidence and it doesn't match. Well, and it's kind of interesting, like, if they are looking at a May 2nd report and then they request another one and they realize that that next report is only, like, May 10th, like, how do they go and find this match all of a sudden? Because I believe they requested, well, it was a state, I think, that said that the interview was May 10th. So I'm not sure if they're refreshed that that police interview with Faust was from like 8 days after this report, 7-8 days after this report. Yep, he's currently in custody. Maybe we can do this thing where we hit play over here, and as soon as I hit play, they'll do something in court, and we can switch back.
Of your statements to law enforcement on June 20th, 2001?
I would like to hear to see if it's accurately depicting your question, because you say, did I state in my explanation that it actually happened the week before? The question he asked was, did it happen? He goes, what happened? Or is there anything the week before that could have jeopardized your relationship? And then I go into an explanation of something that was always on the forefront of my mind because I hurt her feelings, and it did not happen the week before. But I did not explain to them it did not happen the week before. I just went into an explanation of something that I was recollecting.
Still just Chris Bolden
Okay.
spinning
I'm
in
gonna
the
allow you
chair
to
in real
hear
court.
what's on this
real-time court.
flash drive defense exhibit 43. Do we have headphones? Do we have headphones? We don't have headphones. Your Honor, I would ask, and I apologize to everybody, I would ask that I have the opportunity to lay the proper foundation for this flash drive with Mr. Melton outside the presence of the jury.
All right, we will do that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll go into the jury room, don't discuss the case. We'll be with you shortly.
Oh. All right. I see movement. She did no sound, but they just brought the paper back in real court.
All right, ladies and
real-time court.
gentlemen, I'm going to also instruct you, as I did yesterday 2 times. I'm going to give you the same instruction, that I'm going to caution you and remind you to consider the whole of the evidence and to refrain from giving greater emphasis to any evidence you may have heard twice. I'm going to ask you to go back into the jury room and continue your deliberations, but I do have question number 5 from our foreperson, so if I could see the foreperson up front just for a moment. Thank you very much.
Oh, that might be about time management. Let's see. Or maybe she just wants clarity before she reads it out loud.
All right. Madam Foreperson, your question is, how do we manage lunch today? Great question. So I guess the preference is going to be yours. I certainly can order lunch in, which I typically do for juries. If you all want a break, I will give you a lunch break to go outside. So I'm going to ask you. Absolutely. Yes. All right. Y'all may be seated. Thank you.
They're going to chat and figure out what they want for lunch, what they want to do if they want to take a lunch and need a break. We were waiting in suspense for jury question number 5. Oh. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So kind of interesting now that they wanted to specifically see the May 2nd report. Yeah, I don't know. Asking the real questions. Oh, what's the pub sub of the week? Jury question number 6. Yeah, either that or maybe they want to make sure they can run and use their phone, or because it is, don't forget guys, this is East Coast, so it's 11:44. It's right around noon. So even if they might be close, I mean, that's still, people might be hungry already. They got there at 9, so. When my grandfather did jury duty, he's in his 80s. He's approaching his 90s. God bless him. He did jury duty, I think like 6 or 7 years ago now. He was so upset that they were done on the final day before lunch and that he didn't get his lunch. He wanted, I think they're having sandwiches too. Like, this was in New York. So, you know, sandwiches in New York, I think, are a lot more spectacular than the sandwiches I could get around here. So he really wanted his good New York sandwich. Yeah, they want their Taco Bell. No, but then they'll be sending another note like, hold on, we need to take a break. I always get hungry thinking about lunch. Now I'm hungry. I was not hungry 2 minutes ago. Got to get that one more lunch for free before coming back. hold out until after lunch chat. Hold it down. Yeah, they're not their self when they're hungry, right? The defense is like, Your Honor, we want to make sure they have their lunch. Yeah, cat's delicatessen, that's right. Heck yeah. Have you tried the lasagna? The McPoo. I thought about doing, like, and I couldn't do it. Like, the price was just too far to justify. But you can use a site like Goldbelly to have cat's delicatessen. Like, they'll put, like, dry ice in a package and ship you a whole lunch kit. So, goldbelly.com. Sponsor me. And then I'll use it and I'll order some cat's delicatessen. Cats is in Katz, not me. I'm not saying I have my own pastrami shop. No hangry jury fights. Yeah, we don't want that. Mopka says Grandma got out of jury duty. My mom has a jury duty story. So I'll try to do it in her voice. She was like, oh, well, I was sitting there waiting all day. And I don't know, I was just talking to this lady that was sitting next to me. And, you know, she was nice, but she was talking about all the stuff her son was going through. And when it's time for me to be called for the jury, they're like reading a list of names of all the people you're supposed to know. And they read the name of the lady that I was talking to, and it was her son's case. So she was yapping in the room and knew the whole background of the case because she was talking to the defendant's mom while she was waiting for jury questioning for voir dire. So, so she got out of jury duty. She got out of jury duty. Oh, man. It's a little bit of both. It's Brooklyn. It's Brooklyn. So, but yeah, that's my mom's story of getting out of jury duty. Just talk to a relative of the defendant while you're waiting. Factual Lie says there's a new poll over on Law and Crime. Okay, let's see what let's see what our friends over at Law and Crime are doing. All right, verdict will be still an interesting split for Law and Crime. Because they're giving the hung jury option here. So right now with 809, oh, hello, 811 votes. What do you think the verdict will be? Guilty at 25, not guilty at 53, and then hung at 21, 22-ish. It's like jumping right now as I read it. So. And to be fair, my mom talks a little bit more slowly than I was doing the impression. But the voice was probably there. All right, so we were Chris Melton rewatch. I will listen, that way we can hear the update on what they want to do for lunch. We will not miss that update. Fear not. Okay, let's see. They were letting the jury out.
So, Mr. Cruz, let me just make sure for the record, you are you trying to refresh this witness's record?
No, I am not. I am laying the foundation for impeachment. I just want to lay the foundation that he recognizes this this exhibit. I think that's the only piece that's missing.
So are you trying to lay the foundation for a prior inconsistent statement?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Go ahead.
May I, Your Honor?
You may.
Okay, thank you. Let the record reflect that I'm playing for Mr. Melton. Minute mark 6:13 through minute mark 6:49 for the purpose of laying the foundation for this audio recording.
everybody now.
No, even if
another thing was issue, kind of, we'll call it an issue until we hear from you, was brought up to us. Something to the effect that like a week prior to Tara's death, Tara had found out some information and could have maybe jeopardized y'all's relationship. Do you remember having a discussion? I think
something that she might have found at your apartment in Athens.
I think she went there to leave you a note or something.
Yeah, I know it was.
Okay. How about?
Did you have opportunity to hear that, Mr. Melton?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Is that you on the audio recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Is the minute 6 minutes and 13 seconds to 6 minutes and 49 seconds? Is that an accurate? Is that an accurate portion of your conversation with law enforcement?
Yes.
Okay. You recognize this audio recording as the conversation you had with law enforcement on June 20th, 2001. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Does it sound like it's been altered in any way?
No.
Your Honor, I believe the proper foundation has been laid for the audio recording. I'd ask that the jury be allowed to come back in.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Yelmichili, do you have an objection?
I think at this point, the foundation has been laid. However, I did not hear a prior inconsistent statement. It's exactly what Mr. Melton said, which is that he got asked the question and then he launched into an explanation of what happened without correcting the date. So there may be something beyond this that Mr. Cruz wants to play that shows the inconsistency, but I believe, as far as what I heard, Judge, it was exactly what Mr. Melton testified to, which is that, yes, in response to that question about a date certain, I started to launch into an explanation about the only incident that I could think of, but it is not actually from that date, and I didn't clarify that for law enforcement, which seems to be what happens on the recording, but obviously the court heard the recording as well and can draw its own conclusions.
Mr. Cruz, any response to Yelmichili's comments?
Absolutely. That's a misrepresentation. Law enforcement clearly asked him if he was aware of an incident that occurred the week before Tara's death, and Mr. Melton, before I cut the recording off, said, yes, I'm aware of that incident. My specific question to him was, Mr. Melton, was there incident? Well, my specific question to Mr. Melton was, Chris, the week before Tara died, there was an incident that upset her and jeopardized your relationship with her. Do you remember that? His first answer was no. It was months ago that it happened. And eventually we got to him saying, well, I just told law enforcement that it was. I confronted him with the statement, Your Honor. I would ask that I'm allowed to impeach Mr. Melton with a prior inconsistent statement, because Mr. Melton danced around the answer. He wouldn't give me a clean yes or no.
I'm going to ask you to play it again because I did not hear what you're articulating.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I'd like to hear it again, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Another thing was issue, kind of, we'll call it an issue until we hear from you, was brought up to us. Something to the effect that like a week prior to Tara's death, Tara had found out some information that upset her and could have maybe jeopardized y'all's relationship. Do you remember having a discussion?
All right, thank you. That's what I thought I heard. So I think that we are at a moment of the interpretation of semantics.
Sure.
But I do think semantics matter
Yes,
in
ma'am.
this moment. And what the officer just said, which is why I needed you to repeat it, was that something happened the week before where Ms. Baker had learned of something. Mm-hmm. And that is a different set of words and a different phrase than what you're asking Mr. Melton. And so based on that recording and based on the questions that you are asking Mr. Melton, that's not a prior inconsistent statement. You certainly may continue questioning him, but that does not qualify as a prior inconsistent statement. If there's more context, for example, in that recording
Sure.
that supports the way that you have asked the question. We certainly can get into that, but this particular thread that you have played very specifically says when she learned of something, and that is different than what you've asked.
Yes, ma'am. That's fair. We could bring the jury out. I've played it. He's laid the foundation for the recording. I'll ask the appropriate question, and depending on his response, we'll take the next steps.
All right. You may bring the jury out. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Melton, do you recall law enforcement asking you that like a week prior to Tara's death, Tara had found out some information that upset her and could have maybe jeopardized your relationship? Do you remember having that discussion? Is that
Yes,
accurate?
they asked that question.
Sir?
Yes.
And you were told, I think she went there to leave you a note or something. Do you recall that?
I recall them saying yes.
Okay. And your response was, yeah, I know what it was.
Yes.
You'd agree that you never disclosed that information to law enforcement until you were asked about it 5 months after her death. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You never shared with law enforcement the issue that led to Miss Baker not spending Christmas of 2000 with you, did you? Or Christmas Eve. Let me use the right date. Christmas Eve of 2000 with you. Is that correct?
I believe we were together Christmas Eve.
Your testimony here today is that you and Miss Baker were together on Christmas Eve?
Portion of the day, I believe so.
You never shared with law enforcement the reason why Miss Baker did not spend New Year's with you, did you?
Tara did spend New Year's. She spent New Year's Eve with me into New Year's Day. Yes.
You never shared with law enforcement the reason Miss Baker stopped calling you the week of December 27th to January 3rd, despite being home. Is that correct?
What were the dates you just said?
December 27th to January 3rd, 2001.
I don't recall.
You never shared with law enforcement that Miss Baker told you that she needed space to focus on her studies 2 weeks before she died, did you?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry.
Sure.
There's a lot of questions.
You would agree that you never shared with law enforcement that Miss Baker told you that she needed space to focus on her studies 2 weeks before her death.
I'd agree.
And you also never shared with law enforcement that the day before Tara was murdered, that was the most that you two had spoken in the previous 2 months.
I don't know about that, no. No, as far as did I say, I'm sorry, repeat your question. I'll make sure I understand you correctly.
You would agree that you never shared with law enforcement that the day before Miss Baker was murdered, that was the most that you two had spoken in the previous 2 months over the phone. I left that portion out, so please forgive me. Over the phone.
Okay. No, I don't believe I discussed that with the police. I wasn't really aware.
Would you have any reason to disagree that before Miss Baker died, others believed that it was clear that your relationship with Miss Baker was over?
It wouldn't be apparent or aware to me, no.
Let's discuss your dating history with Miss Baker. Is that fair?
Fair.
Okay. When you met Miss Baker, you two were in Milledgeville. Is that right?
Correct.
You two were in college.
Correct.
Okay. And you were a pre-med major. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And pre-med majors are typically aiming for medical school.
Correct.
Okay. And Miss Baker wanted to become a lawyer.
That's correct.
Eventually, Miss Baker graduated from college. Is that right?
That's correct.
And she moved to Athens. Is that correct?
When she at some point, when she graduated, she moved home.
Yes, sir. But eventually she moved to Athens. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And you would agree after Miss Baker moved to Athens, you followed her to Athens.
Correct.
Followed. Oh.
Let me frame it this way. you didn't graduate from college. Is that correct? You didn't get your pre-med degree. Is that right?
That's correct.
Now, for your living arrangements in Athens, you rented a empty bedroom in Chase Guerin's apartment. Is that right?
Correct.
And Chase is someone you actually met through Tara.
Correct.
And for work, while you were staying in Athens, you were driving back and forth daily to Loganville from Athens, Georgia. From Athens, Georgia to Loganville and back. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you moved to Athens specifically to be close to Miss Baker. Is that right?
Correct.
And when you first moved to Athens, is it fair to say that you and Miss Baker would spend in a 7-day week, you guys would be together about 4 or 5 days?
That's correct. That's pre-law school.
That's pre-law school?
That's before we spent that much time before she started getting in law school and getting more busy. Yes.
So first semester of law school, you weren't spending 4 to 5 days with Miss Baker?
Well, yes, she would come by. Yes.
Okay. And you would go to her house too. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes.
However, towards the end of December 2000 and January 2001, Miss Baker stopped visiting your home that often. Is that correct?
That's so we had less time together. Yes.
Okay. And we've already discussed law enforcement talking to you about the incident that happened the week before her death. Would you agree with that?
Asking the question, yes.
Okay. And you would also agree that the week before her death is when you decided to go back to your parents' home for work. Is that fair?
Just for work, not to move.
Okay.
But yes.
So I just want to make sure we're clear. So you didn't move away from Athens before Miss Baker's death?
Correct.
Okay. So if anybody said otherwise, that information is inaccurate.
Correct. I have not moved.
And due to Miss Baker studying and your work, the last time you saw Miss Baker was 10 days before she died?
Say it again.
It was 10 days before she died?
What was your full question?
Sure, I apologize. Due to Miss Baker's studying, as well as your work, the last time you saw Miss Baker was 10 days before she died.
Incorrect. The last time that I had stayed in Athens prior to her death would have been the Wednesday prior, but I saw her the weekend prior to her death.
And you saw her at your apartment?
No, she was at my parents'. She came by my parents' house.
And I noticed before you ask questions, you look over here. Is anybody communicating anything to you while you're on the stand?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, let me ask you about the question in regards to the 10-day window. You would agree that when law enforcement met with you, you told law enforcement in 2024 that you were certain it had been 10 days since you last saw Miss Baker. Would you agree with that?
I stated that in confusion. Yes, sir.
Okay. But you stated it. It was in confusion, but you stated it.
I stated it.
Okay. And Miss Elizabeth Bigham told you that she had your DNA. Is that right?
At some point, yes.
And she told you that because of the DNA that she had of yours, it could not have been 10 days. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Ms. Bigham also told you that they need to be able to explain away your DNA. Is that right?
Correct.
And in response to let me ask this question the right way. In response to Ms. Bigham telling you that she needed to explain away your DNA, you continued to tell her that, no, I'm certain it's 10 days since I last saw Ms. Baker. Is that right?
I started reflecting.
No, I haven't heard any
And I do recall
noise in court about lunch.
being with Tara the weekend before. I have always stated from prior to that I was with her the weekend before. Time had gone by, and confusion started setting in, and I was reflecting on the last time I had stayed in Athens. But indeed, Tara had come to my house that weekend.
But you didn't say that you had seen her that weekend until Ms. Bigham told you that you said that you saw her that weekend back in 2001. Is that right?
That's correct. And other times beyond. Yes, sir.
And Ms. Bigham told you that your DNA was found in Ms. Baker's mouth. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And she told you the DNA doesn't last that long in her mouth. Is that right?
Correct.
And she told you all of this information before you said that, hey, I remember now, I saw Miss Baker the weekend before she passed away. Would you agree with that?
Correct, I would say.
But one thing that you were adamant about with Miss Bigham that she couldn't get you to change, you said, I did not see Tara Baker the week of her death. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, so I want to make sure we're clear for the record. You didn't see Miss Baker on Monday. Is that right?
Correct.
It's undisputed that you didn't see Miss Baker on Tuesday. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's undisputed that you didn't see Miss Baker on Wednesday. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's undisputed that you didn't see Miss Baker on Thursday.
Correct.
Okay, and it's undisputed that you didn't see Miss Baker, you would say you didn't see Miss Baker on Friday.
I think it's undisputed.
So we have Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So we'll say at least 5 days, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you told Miss Bigham that the closest time, for the first time, that you believe you saw Miss Baker last or had sexual intercourse with Miss Baker last was the Sunday before she left. Is that right?
Sounds accurate, yes.
Okay. And that was the first time in 24 years that you ever told law enforcement that you had sexual relations with Miss Baker on Sunday.
I think in the past I'd said it in the weekend, and I had said we had sex on Saturday, and then I'm sure that I believe that we had sex on Sunday. It's just, yes.
That's a yes to my question?
I would say yes.
So if you're, I won't ask that question. So at the time of Miss Baker's death, you stated today, I believe, that you and Tara, well, I'll ask you, how long had you and Tara been dating at the time of her death?
Again, that would be 2.5 years.
Not 3.5 years?
2.5 years.
Not 3.5 years?
From 2.5 to, I think our 2-year anniversary was the July 4th prior, I believe, that we considered us actually a couple.
Okay.
Yes.
So we'll say 2.5 years. So in 2 years, 2.5 years, within that 2-year window, you moved to Athens to be near her. We've agreed on that. Is that right?
Correct.
You helped her move into her Deer Park apartment. Is that correct?
Correct.
And at the time she moved into her Deer Park apartment, is it fair to say that you two were in a serious relationship?
Correct.
But Ms. Baker didn't choose to move in an apartment with you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The day before Ms. Baker died, you would agree that you two spoke 5 times.
Sounds right.
And we've agreed for the past 20 years, you've stated court's indulgence. Now, Mr. Melton, we've already agreed that in 2001, you were advised that Ms. Baker was sexually assaulted. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, you heard it, you testified to it. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, now you do recall also meeting with GBI again on May 5th, 2024. Is that right?
That's correct.
And during the May 5th, 2024 interview, you were told that someone else's DNA was found in Ms. Baker's mouth. Do you remember that?
That's correct.
Okay, and is it, you were told that it was the bad guy's DNA. Is that right?
That's correct.
You were also told by law enforcement that they did not intend to arrest you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And they told you that they needed your help explaining away your DNA. Is that right?
They were trying to have an understanding of why the DNA was in their mouth, or was in Tara's mouth. So, ask your question again.
Sure. They told you they needed you to explain, they needed to be able to, let me rephrase it. They were asking you to help them explain away your DNA or why your DNA would be present in her mouth.
Yes.
Now, when they told you that there was another DNA profile in Ms. Baker's mouth, your response is,
Can we approach, please?
You may.
Well, why couldn't that be a speaking objection? I'm so nosy. I was bugging Happily Angry Lawyer, but I think one of the cases, Owens v. State of Georgia, Maria Owens, that Kyle Winchester argued that Happily Angry Lawyer streamed back in August. It would have been a few months ago. The decision came down, and there was a partial vacating of the felony murder conviction. So, with dissenting opinions saying they think the child neglect charges should have been vacated as well. The central issue was a flawed jury instruction that instructed the jury they couldn't find a lesser if they also found something else. So, posted that in the chat, trying to bug Hal and see if he's going to do an update stream on that. No, not Maria Owens from Practical Magic.
Mr. It's a little bit more to that.
Oh, okay.
Here's the opinion in the chat again. Okay, wait. Oral arguments were October. Let me find Jim's stream. But you guys have been asking, like, oh, I want to see the updates on these oral arguments that, from the Georgia Supreme Court, sometimes other places. What happens? Where are they now? We finally have one. Let's see, Jim, October. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he just tweeted about the case. I think he just tweeted about the case. But maybe he'll rewatch the oral arguments. It's the, here's the feed from Georgia Supreme Court for Owens v. State. It's the middle video on that page. I think he talked about it on X.
All right, so we've agreed that you were aware that Miss Baker was sexually assaulted in 2001, right?
Correct.
Okay. And despite this knowledge of her being sexually assaulted at the time of her death, your response was, I'm kind of stunned. I'm hearing there's two people, me and somebody else.
There's further description of that. I think they say in her mouth. Yes.
Okay. You make that statement.
And when they said in her mouth, yes.
Would it be shocking that if someone was sexually assaulted by someone else that they would likely have more than one DNA profile in them? Is that fair to say?
Judge, I'm going to object for calls for speculation.
I'm going to sustain that objection.
You're
In your
accusing
personal
my client.
knowledge, okay? If someone, whether by choice or not, is intimate with two people, you would expect that two people would be present. Is that fair?
If somebody was sexually assaulted, and I'm thinking that if it's in the vagina and around, yes.
You didn't know that yet.
If it's in the vagina and what? Please finish that statement.
Yes.
All right. question was asked. Well, actually, how can I have full explanation of the thoughts that are going through my head at that moment?
If I can ask you this, can you answer my question first and you can explain anything you need to explain?
Fair enough.
Is that fair?
Just restate your question, please.
So I think we agreed on the point that you said you were kind of stunned. I'm hearing that it's two people, me and somebody else. We've agreed on that, right?
Yes.
And my follow-up question was, based on your personal knowledge, if someone is sexually assaulted by someone other than yourself, you would expect two people to be present. Is that right?
I would say yes, but I do have further explanation of my statement.
Sure. You were asked about your sexual history with Ms. Baker. Is that correct?
When can I continue to?
So I can answer questions. The Honorable Court has only given me authority to ask questions.
Didn't mean to look that direction. I apologize.
But the question I have for you, you have previously described your sexual relationship with Ms. Baker. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that did not include anal intercourse.
That's correct.
And when investigators interviewed you on May 5th, you understood the importance of being truthful. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you understood, and you told them that you and Ms. Baker never, ever engaged in anal sex. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And then just a couple of more questions for you, Mr. Melton. I thank you so much for your patience. During direct examination, you talked about items on your hands. I believe you said it was plumber cement, it was solvent. What were the items that were on your hands when you met with police?
When do I get to go back and talk to about the other, refer to the previous question that you had?
So the Honorable Court has only given me authority to ask questions. After this hearing, you and I could discuss it if you would like.
And I not have an explanation to an answer. Do I have the opportunity to explain a statement? If I'm not, I'm assuming I'm granted that. I'm not sure about the order of the questions that he's stating that Liz and Jeremy had asked me, the order, okay?
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive to any question that I asked. No question involved the order of questioning by investigators.
Well, the reason...
Right, hang on just a second. What was your question again, Mr. Cruz?
I believe the question, and Mr. Melton can correct me if I'm wrong, that he would like to follow up on was the question in regards to his statement, I'm kind of stunned. I'm hearing there's two people, me and somebody else. And I believe he mentioned about it being in her mouth, and I think he wanted to follow up on that, Your Honor.
All right, well, witnesses are allowed to explain their answers if they answer yes or no. Did you, why don't you ask that question again and see if you get the yes or no question, and if this witness would like to explain his answer, he may do so.
Sure, absolutely.
Oh, lady.
And despite knowing that Ms. Baker was sexually assaulted for 23 years, when you were told that somebody else's DNA was found in her body, your response was, I'm kind of stunned. I'm hearing there's two people, me and somebody else. Is that correct?
Correct. Okay. With the explanation. When Liz, they tell me, not that it's in her body, they tell me specifically that it's in her mouth. Okay? In my mind at that point, I'm not accurate about DNA and so forth, timing and so forth, but there was just a short fraction moment of a time, and if I can request to even play that section of the audio, that for just a moment, I was taking consideration that I say was this voluntary? Because why in the world would she not bite his penis? If somebody tried to do that, why would you not bite his penis? And that's what I was expressing. And I was in shock that it was in her mouth, because for just a fraction of a moment, it kind of went through my head. I was like, Was something happening there that I was unaware of with Tara? And I'm ashamed to even think that for a second. And then Liz responds, don't let your head go there.
Objection, hearsay.
It's on the audio recording.
That rejection, that objection.
That's sustained, Mr. Melton, so you can't mention what anybody else said. I would like to follow up on this.
Okay.
If I could
Yeah.
on the hearsay objection, Mr. Cruz in this line of questioning has specifically mentioned the words that the GBI agents are saying back and forth to Mr. Melton. So I think as it relates to the rule of completeness in this line of questioning, Mr. Melton is allowed to talk about that because of the fact that Mr. Cruz has opened the door to it in his line of questioning.
Would you like to respond to the objection about the rule of completeness?
I would. So the purpose of my questioning was the objective effect on the listener. So it wouldn't apply as hearsay because they give him information or they make a statement to him. The most important portion of it isn't what's said to him. We aren't offering that for the truth of the matter. We're offering it to the jury for his response. So anytime that I've mentioned something from GBI, it's either been a question that was asked, which is not hearsay because it's not a statement offered for the truth, it's a question, or two, the objective effect on Mr. Melton in regards to how did he respond to that information. The rule of completeness, from what I understand, applies to documents, videos, things that if you only play a portion of it or show a portion of it, it wouldn't put it into context. Now, if the state would like to, well, I won't get into that, but that's my understanding of the rule of completeness. Right now, we're just going through his testimony with non-hearsay statements from law enforcement.
Okay, I'm going to withdraw my former comment that it is hearsay. Both parties have agreed that it is not hearsay. I'm going to allow you to complete your statement. Go ahead.
All right, back to what I was saying.
Your Honor, I didn't agree that his statement wasn't hearsay. His statement was hearsay as far as what Ms. Bigham said. I was explaining my statements.
Well, I'm going to allow him to say
Yes, ma'am.
however you characterize it. I'm going to make a finding that both parties have said it's not hearsay. I'm going to allow you to continue explaining if you choose to do so.
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to continue. There was a moment when, I'm going to have to back up just a touch, I guess, but I hear that there's semen in her mouth. I'm expecting it in other places of her body, but in her mouth, I was like, how did she not bite this person? And for just a moment, I was like, was this voluntary? And then I was going the wrong thoughts in my head, and Liz picked up on that also, and she stated something that was beyond my realm of consideration, and she says, that's if Tara was still alive.
You were in her mouth too, is that correct?
It's the DNA, you're saying, yes, the DNA was located.
Okay.
That's what I've been told.
And I just want to make it very clear for the jury. When you met with law enforcement on May 5th, 2024, you understood that your DNA was in Ms. Baker's mouth.
That's what I was told.
Last question I have for you. I want to talk about your hands a little bit.
Well, we're going to get into
You
the
punched the wall 30
orange
times?
VHS tape.
I stated that I couldn't remember how many times I'd punched it, but I was just guesstimating.
Okay. But you stated that you punched it so hard that shingles were falling off the house?
No, that I was hitting at some point when I came through, I know I hit the siding.
Okay. Did you mention that you were hitting concrete and things of that nature?
Sir?
Did you mention that you hit concrete? Did I hear
Well,
that?
that's what the siding was made of.
Okay, so you were punching through the wall and hitting concrete?
Yes. And I remember I remember punching through and feeling the other side. Yes.
Okay. You would agree that you never told law enforcement that you sought medical treatment for your hands. Is that correct?
That's correct. I never did.
Okay. And you would also agree that you didn't break any bones in your hands. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You also agree that the injuries to your hand were scratch-like injuries. Is that right?
There were scratch-like injuries on my hand. Yes.
I think we established this. This is my last point. I believe we've already talked about this and we've agreed on it maybe multiple times. But your hands were covered in work supplies when you went to meet with law enforcement, right?
Yes, I believe there was primer and maybe some glue that was on my hands.
You also mentioned cement as well, plumber cement, I think you stated.
Plumbing cement, it's a possibility. I wasn't completely accurate of all this, but it's primer. I know that sticks to your hands, and then there's probably little pieces of adhesive.
Okay, and I want to ask you something that's very interesting to me, and this is my last question for real.
Mm-hmm.
You refer to the officers by their first names. How many times have you met with them before this trial took place?
That's how they always introduce themselves.
My question is, how many times did you meet with them before this trial?
Before this trial? When they interviewed me?
Okay. How many times?
I think I've had a total of 5, 6 interviews, I guess.
And that includes with the prosecutors as well?
As far as with the prosecutors, maybe 2.
Okay, so they've met with you a total of 7 times, but they told you that your DNA was present in Ms. Baker's dead body. Is that right?
Who's you talking about? Liz and
Correct.
Jeremy?
Correct.
When they interviewed me?
Correct.
They said my DNA was also there. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Melton. I have no other questions for you.
Any redirect, Mr. Yeoman-Shilley?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Okay. Mr. Melton, I've got just, one, well, I'm not going to call it one question. It might turn into a couple, but just one thing that I wanted to talk to you about. Because there's been some testimony about this incident between you and Tara, but there hasn't been any testimony about what that incident was. Can you explain to us, what it is that happened and what this disagreement that y'all had? And I believe you testified it was the only disagreement that you could necessarily recall that was ever serious. What was it?
Okay. Just bear with me. There was a time that Tara took care of me. I had gotten an infection. I had cellulitis that had entered my body through my thighs and through my buttocks on a job site late summer. Late summer, I remember it being hot. I had been shaved. I was on a new job site. I'm sitting on the...
So notice he remembers it's summer because he was questioned about somebody telling law enforcement, one of Tara's friends, that, hey, we think something weird happened. Like a week before her murder, apparently Tara went to his apartment and left a note. And they were fighting. It was a fight. And now he's like, this thing to address that detail that was brought up on cross-examination. We're going all the way back to summer. It was hot. So either that's not the thing, or we're adding a lot of details. I personally don't find it credible. I don't find it credible.
Sitting on the soil, installing plumbing. Well, during that time, evidently bacteria that had been in the soil entered through my clothes, entered my skin, and got me infected. That same day, later that evening, Tara was at my house, and she saw the effects it was having upon my body. And I'd swollen up in between my thighs and my legs, and my skin started turning black. She told me, you need to go to the emergency room. And she took me to the emergency room. Once that was taken care of there, I had to come back to my place, and I could not walk or move around for a long period of time, possibly up to, if I can recall, 2 weeks. Okay. During that time, Tara was my caretaker. That's when she was given a key to get in and out because I could not go up and down the steps without having her come in to take care of me. Well, time goes by. Now I'm at the end of this, and I've healed up and I'm ready to go back to work. So she has stayed over. She stayed behind that morning to show herself out. Once I had gone to work, she had called me and said, we need to talk. And I was like, okay. Well, she said she would meet me back at the house.
Want to be near him.
Meet me back at my place. While I was gone, what she had found, I had a TV armoire with VHS tapes. And as embarrassing as it is, and this is something I had since I was 19 from back in college.
I'm like, why would you keep this tape in the armoire with all of your random VHS tapes? Like, what if you have company over and like, oh, go find a movie to watch? Like,
She found an adult video. It wasn't anything crazy. It was just one video in bright orange, I might add, so it wasn't concealed. It was just there. That hurt her feelings. She felt so disrespected. I was ashamed. I was embarrassed. I can't even quite remember the last time I had even seen it, but I was still in possession of it. She sat down in that argument and she demanded, when did you come in possession of this? And then I further explained that when we were in college, back, I guess I'm 19 at this time, one of the cheerleaders was actually marrying another cheerleader. It was a man and a woman. They had been partners for a while, and they actually were getting married. Well, there was a bachelor party that didn't have anybody, no females show up or anything, but they had this adult video playing on the TV during that crazy little bachelor party guys kind of thing. Well, that's how I obtained it, because I asked the host, I was like, hey man, you mind if I have the tape? I was not in a relationship or anything at the time. I'm ashamed to say that, embarrassed. But when she found that, I felt like I broke her heart. That was not who she was, and I hope it's not a representation really of who I am. I was a young man. She found that tape, and that was the only time that I can ever recall that she raised her voice at me. And she demanded that I destroy the tape and throw it in the dumpster by my apartments with her hands on her hips watching me. And I did. And we agreed, and I talked it out, and I laid everything out for her as she asked, and I was laying all my cards on the table. I was honest with her. She chose to show me grace, and she was understanding, and we made up that same day and in that evening. Okay? But that always stayed in the forefront of my mind as the time that I could have jeopardized our relationship. And I've always shown her respect, and I didn't realize I was showing her disrespect in that fashion at that time, but she made it clear that that was inappropriate and that I should never do that again, and I agreed. And that's the incident that I explained to law enforcement when they asked me, is there ever a time that's what I hear. Is there ever a time that you have jeopardized your relationship? And that's what I tell them. I tell them that story.
he was asked, and that's what I told him. Doesn't seem like, is there a time? This was the time.
And that's the context of where that answer came from.
Judge, I don't have any other questions for Mr. Milton.
Any requests, Mr. Cruz? Go ahead.
Mr. Melton, you've gone to Ms. Baker's house with her before, right? We've agreed on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've seen, it's fair to say that you would see her take out her key and unlock the door. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So you would know what her house key looks like. Is that correct?
I guess it looks like a house key. Yes, sir.
And you would agree if you showed up to Ms. Baker's house unannounced, she would probably let you in. Is that right?
If I showed up to her house unannounced and knocked on the door and she answered the door,
Correct.
yes.
No other questions?
Any redirect, Mr. Yelmanchili?
No, Your Honor.
May this witness be excused?
We'd ask that he is.
Any objection from the defense? You are free to go, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going...
Run out of there. Run out of there. Like, yeah, that whole redirect, just to go down this whole story and explain the orange adult content cassette tape or VHS tape. That was a redirect question. Like, did we really need to know all of that? Oh, goodness. Who was after? Did they put a detective after him? I forget. Oh, okay, they started getting into the broken slides. This is where we had the testimony about the broken slides with the hairs. Who do you want to watch next? Oh, Doug, objection narrative? Every objection non-responsive was overruled when the defense made the objections. I think there were 5 total on defense's cross-examination. What was my count? Let me see. All right, my cross-examination for Chris Melton. I have objections 18. So the state made 18 objections during cross-examination. 16 were sustained, almost 17, but the judge withdrew the sustain on one of them. So only one was an overrule. Then the defense on cross-examination, they objected to the state's speaking objections, and that was overruled 2 times. And then objections non-responsive, they made 5 objections, and all of them were overruled. So that was my counter for cross-examination. Good times, good times. I didn't log the one for direct in my notes, but it's at the bottom of the banner if you guys go back to our day 6 stream. I just didn't copy and paste the count over. Let's see. Rewatch Liz. You guys want to rewatch Liz or Ashleigh? All right, let's do Ashleigh first, just because she was first in the trial, and then we'll do Liz. I don't think they were up there for all that long. So that should be way quicker than Chris Melton. Yeah. When was Ashleigh? Was that day 2? Day 3. All right, let me find her. All right, so we have a little bit with her at the start of, or the end of day 3, and then we'll have to catch the very interesting redirect and the remainder of cross.
Thank you. Please be seated. We are back on the record. Mr. Bolden, you may call your next witness.
Call Ashleigh Hall.
Could you get Ashleigh Hall, please?
your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm your testimony in the matter pending before the court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And I just need to make sure that you're speaking loudly enough into that microphone so that we can hear you, okay?
Okay, is that better?
Yes. Ma'am, could you state and spell your name for the record, please?
Yes, it's Ashleigh Hall, Ashley Hall.
And where do you live, ma'am?
In Dicula.
I'm going to ask you about your relationship with the deceased in this case, Tara Baker. How did you meet Tara?
We were in the same sorority at Georgia College in Milledgeville, and then we ended up living together in the sorority house for a couple years. We both came to Georgia and ended up living together here as well.
Can you describe, in general terms, your friendship with Tara?
We were extremely close. Pretty much once we met, that was kind of came a little bit inseparable. And then when we both came here for I was doing my graduate studies and she was in law school, we were living together. Of course, we just didn't have as much time together, but we were still very close.
What kind of friend was she?
A wonderful friend, sweet person, always nice to everybody, always up for anything. Very Southern Belle, very someone that was very into her family. Like I felt like her siblings were my siblings by the time I knew everything about them, all about her mother, how wonderful she was. She knew my family pretty much about the same. She was very black and white. She knew right and wrong.
Oh, and I missed this. Sunshine for you. I'm sorry I missed this earlier with Melton when we needed the cuss jar. Saying he makes the cuss jar appear. There is a swear jar emoji in the channel emojis, you guys. Feel free to use that to your heart's content. Thank you for the super here from Sunshine for you. And Amy's also in the building. It's 17-month member anniversary. Thanks so much, Amy. That is a very long, long time. It feels like yesterday. If you guys don't already follow Amy, she does a ton of body cam footage. And some of them really, really interesting. Some are kind of crazy to watch. Some are very funny. But she has a nice archive going over there. So make sure you come hang out with us over there. Dropped her link in the chat for you guys. And always good to see you.
There's no gray with Tara. Like it was, this is what you're supposed to do. This is how you treat people. Fantastic person overall. And I know people say that about a lot of people, but she really was just pure of heart, just a great person.
I'm going to take you back to August of 2000.
Okay.
And did you and Tara and Valerie Lowe all move in together?
Correct.
And how did the three of you come to decide to live as roommates?
Well, I met Valerie through the equestrian team at UGA. We both rode on the team. And then Tara came in '99 to work for the law firm. And unfortunately, I'd already signed a lease, so we couldn't live together that year. So we made a point. We made sure we were together the next year. And she got along with Valerie fine. And we were just very similar personality types, how we were raised, just both. It turned out to be a great roommate situation. So.
Where did y'all move into in August of 2000?
Fawn Drive.
In that time, starting in August of 2000, did all of you have boyfriends?
We did, I was dating my now husband, Chris Hall. Valerie was with Jeff Hall, and then Tara was Chris Melton. We thought it was funny because we had two Chris's and two Halls in that whole set. So
let's talk a little bit about Tara and Chris.
Okay.
You recall how they met?
At Georgia College. Mutual friends. He actually was a cheerleader at Georgia College, and my brother was a cheerleader. And it's kind of just small school. You meet through that way. So.
Over the course of your friendship with Tara at Georgia College, up through and including moving into 160 Fawn Drive with her, did you have an opportunity to see her relationship with Chris?
Yes, we attended sorority functions all together. We went camping together. We went on trips together. Just hung out together. So definitely immersed in their relationship.
In that, again, that fall semester, so starting in August of 2000, where was Chris living at that time?
He was living Jamestown Apartments, I believe it was.
Also, shout out to Sheriff Chuck. Let's get some party chucks in the chat. Let me throw some in here. There we go. Some party chucks to start off the party. Make sure you're saying thank you if you just got a gifted membership. It's super generous. It's a great and fun way to support the channel. It gives you some fun access to fun emojis. Shout out to Sheriff Chuck. We love him here. And what did we... There was a nickname I gave you yesterday. Oh, for truck customs.
With Chase Guerin.
Is that here in Athens?
That's in Athens, yes, I'm sorry.
Do you remember where in Athens that is?
The Jamestown, right off of Millage, I believe.
Can you describe for the jury kind of what, at least inside y'all's house at 160 Fawn Drive, what that fall semester was like?
Well, I was starting my graduate studies. Tara was starting her law studies. Valerie was finishing her undergrad, and she was starting her grad studies the next semester, but it was busy. I mean, we were kind of passing each other, or we're just studying at all times. And then we had our boyfriends on weekends. We either would do something with the boyfriends, or we would do stuff together too. But it was just that time of your life where you weren't getting any sleep and you were studying and, just living your life. So.
Do you recall during that fall semester occasions where Tara would spend the night over at Chris's
Yes.
apartment? Do you also remember occasions when Chris would spend the night at 160 Fawn Drive?
Not as much. It was mainly over there, so.
Moving forward a little bit to the start of the spring semester, did you notice any change in Tara as it related to her relationship with her studies?
She was really buckled down. She was stressed with school. This UGA law school, it was a tough department. I think Chris ended up moving back with his parents more, so they just couldn't see each other as much. And so mainly just really buckling down with school.
You mentioned Chris had moved back in with his parents. Do you know why?
He was helping his father. He was a plumber, and he just started working more.
We've got to take a little detour. So if you guys tuned in when we were talking about the Andrew Hayes case, remember I gave homework. I said, go watch the Everything They Missed podcast by Stephanie Tinsley. And then we did a docket deep dive. So she had the story. She was looking into the cold case and she put a podcast together. Her podcast helped a family member of a victim have questions about a case of a wrongful conviction. And that relative started reaching out to the actual culprit, had phone conversations, and recorded the culprit confessing to the crime. So now the Shelby County District Attorney's Office last month was like, hey, we think Andrew Hayes is innocent. We're not going to fight any initiatives by his defense team, his counsel, to get his conviction overturned. And we've been waiting. The last we heard was that they were trying to get, her name is Sarah, extradited because she was out of state. And officially, she has been extradited. So the Shelby County DA's office believes Andrew Hayes was wrongfully convicted of murder more than 16 years ago. Let's see. This weekend, a woman they believe was actually part of the crime was extradited back to Memphis. A murder going back to 2007, Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy says Danny Harris was beaten to death, his decomposing body found months later. In 2010, Andrew Hayes was convicted of the crime. Jury wanted to go home. A juror had a birthday party to get to, so they just hurried it along. You can hear those interviews with the jurors on Stephanie Tinsley's podcast. I'll get links in a second. In January of 2026, the DA's office said he never should have been in prison in the first place. We believe that the conviction should be vacated, said Steve Mulroy. Mulroy says new evidence in the case was exposed, leading to an investigation by his office's Justice Review Unit with the Tennessee Innocence Project. So, Jeremy Gishner from the Tennessee Innocence Project has been representing it with the recent initiatives for Andrew Hayes. We looked at a long list of appeal efforts, post-conviction relief efforts that just failed one after another for like 17 years worth of effort. 17? I guess about 16 before Jeremy came into the picture. This weekend on Valentine's Day, jail records showed a new suspect has been booked in Harris's death. Sarah Lucas, brought to Memphis from Oklahoma. Mulroy says she is Vance's daughter, so this is Tammy Vance up here, who took a plea deal, and basically Tammy and Andrew Hayes were the ones that had convictions for this crime. And Tammy was protecting her daughter, Sarah, who actually was the perpetrator. And this guy had nothing to do with it. So Mulroy says she is Vance's daughter and helped facilitate the murder. Monday, WREG learned that she has no mugshot as she is hospitalized. And she has pre-existing health issues. And while Hayes initially confessed to the crime, that's just a hanging sentence, then we have a quote that says, "We believe that was a wrongful, false confession. It was the product of a 27-hour interrogation of a person who was intellectually disabled. His IQ was below 70. So, and then yesterday, we have a statement from the executive director of the Tennessee Innocence Project. Andrew Hayes is serving a sentence for a crime he did not commit. The Tennessee Innocence Project looks forward to presenting the evidence of his innocence in court." So they filed a petition, I think, on January 6th. So we're just waiting for that to move through the docket because, justice takes the slow route, the scenic route when it's time to correct an injustice. It sure seems to move very slowly. Not like a 5-6 day window from CODIS hit to talking to Melton to make him separate himself and then arresting Faust. That moved very quickly, but here we are. And then again, Mulroy's office is not going to oppose the petition. So this was, I think, well worth the deep dive. I'm going to drop a link to everything that you need to deep dive. This is not something where there's a ton available. So the best place I'd say to start is with Stephanie's podcast here, Everything They Missed. I think it's 6 episodes and they're like 30 to 40 minutes each. You can binge through it. Incredibly insightful stuff that she has in there. And then I have a playlist here of stuff that's available on YouTube, including our own streams that we did here where we looked at like the docket and the motions. So all of that's there. And then there's all of these different, if you prefer reading, quick backgrounds. Everything is here. So definitely check that out. And, justice for Andrew. So there we go. That's in the chat. I'll update the description with it. And also, I never saw anybody come back into court. It's just been the sealing. So maybe they haven't taken a lunch or maybe they just kept it off the record. I don't know. But back to Ashleigh P.V. Hall.
Full time. So was starting his career and trying to go off on his own a little bit. He just was busy and it just made more sense for him to work from there versus traveling an hour to his work sites.
Where did Chris live at the end?
Loganville?
Do you recall a time when Chris gave Tara a Christmas present that year?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I know he gave her maybe a piece of furniture or something, or...
And without going into anything that Tara may have told you, did you get an impression as to her reaction to that gift? Does that question make sense?
Oh, I mean, anything he would give her, she was over the moon about. I mean, she just liked anyone to think of her. So usually if you just give her, I mean, you could have given her, like, I would draw a little picture sometimes when I was bored at work and she would hang them on her wall, I mean, like, that's just, she just liked anyone to think of her. So anything he gave her would have been wonderful to her, so.
Turning to Thursday.
Hold on, jumping back because this article has a booking shot of Sarah Lucas Rydell. So there we go. Let's see. Anything else interesting in here? Charged with facilitation of first-degree murder and perjury because she testified at the original trial. Not very common to see perjury charges, so let's take a moment. We've got perjury being prosecuted here. And let's see. According to Andrew's family and DA Steve Mulroy, Andrew Hayes barely knew Vance and was simply giving her and her daughter, Sarah Lucas Rydell, a ride to the police station after Harris was found dead. And then we have Tamarian Jefferson, Andrew's son. There's video interviews of Tamarian speaking, and I think he's also in the final episode of the Everything They Missed podcast. But here he says, "I'm overwhelmed and I'm excited because I finally get to experience having a father. I just want to see him smile because I know once he's home, that's all it's going to be, is a smile." So there's another little bit of an update there. And gotta get that mugshot after all this time. I can put it in my thumbnail next time I do a video. Back to Ashleigh, and also Mrs. K. Griff, thank you for becoming a member. Thank you very much. Glad to see you in green. Appreciate you hanging out with us.
January the 18th. Were you at the house at 160 Fallen Drive that afternoon?
Yes,
Were you heading out of town that weekend?
I was. My class for Friday was canceled, so my boyfriend was going to Georgia State and ended up going to see him.
Do you recall having being at home with Tara that?
Yes, we had a long conversation because with her birthday coming up, I actually had a horse show that weekend, so I couldn't go to her party. And so we were talking about what we were going to do to celebrate later for her birthday. And then we're just catching up on everything for the week since it was rare for us just to have time to sit and talk.
So you mentioned a birthday. Do you remember what she was going to do?
I think go to a couple different places downtown Athens with her law friends and some people she used to work with.
Did she seem excited?
Oh, she was thrilled, yeah. I hated I was missing it. That was going to be, she was very excited.
Do you recall Tara talking to anyone on the phone that afternoon?
I think she and Chris talked on the phone, but they talked about it every day.
If you know, was Chris planning on coming in town that weekend?
I don't remember if he could make the party, but I know he was coming in town and they were doing something for the birthday.
Objection, Your Honor. You're safe.
All right, any response to the objection?
I didn't ask to elicit any statements by anyone. I just asked if you did.
It's implicit hearsay.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Did Tara appear excited about the weekend plans?
Yes, she was extremely excited about the weekend plans. And she was excited about seeing Chris.
Let's talk a little bit about Tara's morning routine. What do you recall about that?
She was pretty much a creature of habit. Shower in the morning, she'll go eat breakfast. She'd always have 2 bags of cheese grits, because I like cheese grits too, and that was a bonding moment. Eat her grits and then go finish getting ready. She had really thick hair, so it took her forever to blow dry her hair, so usually she'll sit on the floor and flip her head over and blow dry her hair.
You went through that all really quick.
Sorry,
really fast.
I'm sorry, yeah.
And so I'm going to ask you to kind of break that down
Okay.
one at a time. How would Tara start her day?
Shower.
And what would she then do next?
She would go make her breakfast.
And where would she go to make the breakfast?
Well, she'll go to the kitchen to make the breakfast, and then she'll probably sit on the sofa and eat it.
And at that time, after eating her breakfast, is that when she would go back?
Go back in her room and finish getting ready, yes.
You indicated that part of that included blow drying her.
Yes, she had a lot of really thick hair, and so she would have to usually sit on the floor because she would get tired of standing up. And we've lived together since my freshman year, so it was kind of a joke, her sitting down on the floor, flipping her head over, doing her hair all the time. So,
What time would she start her day?
depending on the class, if she had an early class, she'd like a 9:30, probably 6:30, 7:30. She'd like to get everything ready and then study for whatever classes she had that day.
So that would kind of start that routine?
Yes.
Depending on what time the first class was?
Yes.
In kind of the last months of her life, had you noticed anything significant about Tara's relationship with Chris?
I think she was frustrated they couldn't see each other as much. Of course, with her schedule and his schedule now working full time, like every girl, she wanted her boyfriend to give her a little bit more attention. But I think I had the exact same complaint about my boyfriend at the time. So it was normal conversations you have with your friend about their relationship. Nothing off or nothing that would have caused me to be alarmed in any way.
You feel like your relationship with Tara that you just described over the course of this afternoon, you would have recognized if there were...
Oh, yes. Yeah, like I said, Tara's very black and white. Like, we're not ones to share, like, maybe the little minute intimate, but we definitely knew what was going on in each other's lives. I mean, that was... And if something was happening with Chris, since she knew I knew him and our relationship was what it was, she would have told me.
Ashleigh, or Ms. Hall, I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I believe I have a motion, Your Honor.
All right. I'm going to send the jury out. If you'll have a moment in the jury room and don't discuss the case. Thank you.
Just making sure. Yeah.
Y'all may be seated. You have a motion, Mr. Cruz?
Yes, ma'am. And I'd just like to put the basis on the record. As the court is aware, Mr. Faust has a restriction on his line of questioning that he could ask witnesses in regards to statements that Ms. Baker may have made to said witnesses. During the state's examination of Mrs. P.V. Hall, there's been intimations of, well, and I'll say what the exact statement was, that if something was going on, she would have told me. Well, we have evidence to the contrary, but as of right now, we can't confront that statement because of the Honorable Court's ruling. So before I move further with our motion, I would ask, would the Honorable Court reconsider its ruling in regards to our residual hearsay motion with the statements that we have that Ms. Baker shared through Ms. Ashleigh Peavy?
All right, thank you. Mr. Bolden, Mr. Yeoman, shall you care to respond to the motion?
Is asking the court to reconsider its ruling on our 607 before we move forward with any other motion. Our residual hearsay motion. I mean 807, excuse me.
Your Honor, to the extent that the state has asked Ms. Hall to testify about anything that Tara may have said, I understood the court's admonition the first time and have intentionally stayed away from that. I don't think that I have failed to, or I've elicited any testimony that would, violate the rule that requires notification. So I don't know exactly what Mr. Cruz is asking.
All right, thank you. So first of all, your request for a reconsideration of a prior ruling is not properly brought in this manner. That's not an objection. And I think you're misinterpreting my prior order. And so I think it would be imperative, Mr. Cruz, to go back and review what my orders were about. If you want to file a motion to reconsider, you certainly may do that, and I will consider whether it is timely and whether I should take it up. But I think your interpretation of the court's order is not accurate.
It is accurate, Your Honor. The order that you
I'm not going to argue with you, Mr. Cruz. I have made my ruling.
Well, sure.
Do you have any other objection before I bring the jury back?
Move for a mistrial. And the grounds we're moving for a mistrial on, Ms. P.V. Hall was able to testify that Tara would tell me if there was anything going on with her and Chris Melton. We've submitted to the court and filed a residual hearsay notice to address those statements that were made. The Honorable Court advised us that we could not mention anything that Tara Baker told Ms. P.V. Hall in opening, and we cannot ask any questions related to that. Evidence has come into this case contrary to our 807 notice, residual hearsay notice, and we asked the Honorable Court to reconsider its restriction on the defense that is not on the state and allow us to ask questions in regards to that. The door has been open, Your Honor. We're just asking for fairness at this point.
Okay, Mr. Cruz, once again, you are misinterpreting this court's order.
I am not, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to tell you what the court's position is. You are misinterpreting this court's order. It would be helpful for you to go back and look at the order and to review the law.
It's not written.
Mr. Cruz, I'm talking now.
Yes, ma'am.
It would be very helpful for you to go back and look at the court's order and to review the law that the court used in coming to that decision. This is not grounds for a mistrial. I'm going to deny your motion for a mistrial. If you want to file a motion to reconsider and it is filed properly, I will consider whether it is appropriate for the court to hear it at this point. We will, of course, do it outside the presence of the jury if the court decides to hear it. But until that motion is filed, I'm not going to consider a motion for reconsideration in this forum. But I do think it is imperative for you, Mr. Cruz, based on your arguments, to go back and look at the court's order and the law and to interpret it properly. And that is going to be my final answer. Would you please bring the jury back? Thank you.
Can we ask her about it? That's what the court hasn't ruled on, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, it would be imperative for you to begin your cross-examination. If there's an objection, I'll rule on it.
Yes, ma'am.
You all may be seated. Mr. Bolden?
Ms. Hall, talk a little bit about 160 itself, the house. Did y'all use the back door very often?
No, we I think when we first moved, we might have looked out there, and that was about it. I mean, there's no reason to go in the backyard.
The window by the kitchen table, was that ever opened?
No, but I remember that wasn't on the track correctly, so we could never really lock it. So I think we moved a chair back there, so thinking if someone walked in, we would hear it. But I think we did report that it was off track.
Did the three of you share keys with your boyfriend?
No.
Why not?
Like I said, we were very black and white on that. It was our house, and no boy should be there if we're not there with them. We were in law school, or grad school and law school, and just we're busy, and we don't need just a random person being there, and we were very respectful of each other's place.
How did you learn of Tara's death?
When we left, my boyfriend's in Atlanta, we first went to Winder, and then I went home, but my cell phone, like back there, we did not charge them, and mine was dead, because we just didn't use cell phones like that back then. And by the time I got home, my parents met me at the door and said there was a fire. My immediate thought was Tara left a candle burning. She loved candles, and but then we had to load up in the car and go to Athens, and I think just, you didn't believe it, because in that time we didn't know exactly what happened. We just knew there was a fire. So, of course, got to Athens and find out what happened, and I don't know, some of it's kind of blocked out. I feel like your body shuts down when you get some type of that kind of trauma. But
Bear with me just.
no, you're fine. No, I'm here to answer whatever you need, both sides. But.
Ms. Hall, thank you so much. I don't have any further questions for
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Cross-examination, Mr. Cruz.
Ms. Hall, I think the most important thing, and I think everybody in this courtroom would agree, I am tremendously sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you some questions. Some of the questions may be a bit difficult. Some of the questions may be a bit uncomfortable, okay? But I want to let you know I am tremendously sorry for your loss. I would like to start with talking about Miss Baker's life and how you knew Miss Baker, okay?
Okay.
I think we'd agree that Miss Baker was in law school,
Yes.
and she wanted to become a judge.
Eventually, yes. She wanted to do real estate law.
Is it fair to say that Miss Baker was known to have a keen sense of justice?
Yes,
Okay, she would listen, hear things out before she would make a decision on something.
I agree. Yes.
And would you agree, as you sit here today, you just simply want answers on what happened to Miss Baker?
Well, and we want someone prosecuted in
Correct.
crimes. Yes.
But the right person. Is that
The right person, definitely.
Yes, ma'am. So you knew Miss Baker in undergrad, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you didn't just know her in undergrad, you two went to college together.
We did.
And you two were roommates in college as well, is that right?
Yes. Correct.
And not only in undergrad, which was in Milledgeville, but you also were roommates here at 160 Fond Drive.
Correct.
You would have no reason to disagree that if Miss Baker was here, she would say you were her best friend.
I would hope so. Yes.
Ms. Hall, about a year and a half ago, do you recall being visited by law enforcement to discuss Miss Baker?
I do. Yes.
And as a part of that discussion, they asked you about Miss Baker's relationship with Chris Melton. Is that
Yes.
correct? And you didn't know Chris Melton just through Miss Baker. You knew Chris Melton because he went to undergrad with you
I
two as
did.
well.
Yes, I knew him before they ever dated.
Mm-hmm. And I believe Miss Baker and Chris met at Georgia College.
They,
right?
yes.
Is it fair to describe Miss Baker as, and if I say anything wrong, correct me, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Goal-driven and ambitious.
Very much.
And is it fair to say that you told law enforcement that Chris was very aloof and the fun guy to date in college, but not long-term?
If that's what it says, and that's what I said. But yes, they had a lot of fun together, and I feel like they just didn't have a lot of time for each other at that time. So it was a possibility that like relationships do, sometimes they end, but that's not to me. That's up to her. So I have no idea if they would have broken up or stayed together, and we never will. So.
Yes, ma'am, that's fair. And you may have answered this. I just want to make sure it's clear for the court reporter. You described Chris as very aloof and the fun guy to date in college, but not long-term.
Well, that was my opinion. That might not have been her opinion.
Yes, ma'am. And Tara and Chris were a match you never thought would happen.
Well, because she was very serious, and he was fun, and what they got together, and it worked. So that's all that mattered. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, that, in your past, that they didn't look like they would work, and they were fantastic together.
And when you and Ms. Baker were staying at the Deer Park apartment, she was dating Chris, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And Chris would come over to the apartment a lot.
He would come some, but they mainly went over to his.
Sure. And I want to make sure that I use the right term. Do you recall telling law enforcement that Chris came over to the apartment a lot?
I don't recall, but if I said it, then that's what I said, yes.
So,
No,
just
that's
want to make sure I'm clear from the record. Do you not recall?
Yes, okay, I recall I said that. I said it a lot. Like I said, I talked to many reporters and many people, so.
And Chris would sleep over as well, is that correct?
So, yes.
Based on your personal knowledge, you don't know whether Chris had been provided a key to Deer Park or not, is that correct? Excuse me, the Deer Park house or not?
Personally, no, but she would have, one, told us if she gave him a key, and two, none of us would have ever given someone else a key. That was not on the lease.
Sure. And thank you for that. And just to make sure it's clear for the record, to your personal knowledge, you don't know.
Of course, no one knows.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
As Tara's best friend and as her roommate, would it be fair to say that you had opportunity to observe her relationship with Chris Melton?
Yes.
Is it fair to, well, let me rephrase that. When law enforcement met with you, you told law enforcement, I think once she started law school, I think they started dividing a little. Do you recall making that statement?
I'm sure I made the statement. The only thing I would mean by that statement is that he was starting his full-time job, plumbing, and she was trying to study. So they just didn't have the time together. And as I said before, that was just frustrating whenever you don't have the time with the person that you're with.
Yes, ma'am. And you also told law enforcement, and I quote, I mean, there were cracks already that, it was just he was wanting more time, and she's like, hey, I'm in law school. Do you recall making that statement to law enforcement?
I'm sure I did if you said I did, but she was in law school. She was busy.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a fact.
Would you agree that you told law enforcement, when asked about Ms. Baker's relationship with Chris Melton before her death, you stated, I think just the normal, you could almost see it was the normal, you could almost see the ending of a relationship, if that makes sense.
Well, that was my opinion, but does not mean that's what was happening.
Sure, but that was based on your...
No, it's just, as I said before, they just couldn't spend time together. And so it just looked like they're both busy. It did not mean one thing or the other. She was frustrated at the time. Again, does not mean that their relationship was ending. He was one of the nicest people ever and was always sweet to her, never showed any anger toward her.
And you told law enforcement about the frustration around them not seeing each other, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And is it true that you told law enforcement, when you were asked, like they're starting to grow apart or he's getting on her nerves? Do you recall being asked that question?
I don't recall it, but if I said it, that's...
Would hearing...
But also you have to remember we were asked so many questions by so many times that it was getting on my nerves at that point. So sometimes I might have been a little abrupt.
Yes, ma'am. I know you mentioned that you don't recall it. Would hearing your interview refresh your recollection in regards to that particular question and what your answer may have been?
If it makes... Is there a reason for me to hear it?
Ma'am?
Is there a reason for me to hear it?
Sure, we could talk about it outside the presence of the jury, but at this time, the Honorable Court has only given me permission to ask questions.
Okay.
So would hearing your interview refresh your recollection into the question that was asked and your answer to it?
What exactly was the question? And maybe I can just answer it for you, how you need it answered.
Yes, ma'am. You were asked by Agent Bigham, like they're starting to grow apart or he's getting on her nerves. Your response was, I think it was just getting frustrated and I think they both were because she had to study so much. Do you recall making that statement?
Well, I'm sure I've made it many times, but yeah, she did have to study a lot. And when he had time, a lot of times she didn't. And when she had time, he had to work. It was what happens when people start their real lives. You have priorities and you just don't have the time to spend together. But that doesn't mean that he hurt her or did anything to her.
Yes, ma'am. Is that a yes or a no to my question?
Do I remember making that? Yes. Okay. I remember that statement.
Thank you. Do you remember telling Elizabeth Bingham, and I think that was, once she started dating Chris Milton, and I think that they were kind of on the outs before everything happened.
Well, they just didn't have, not on the outs, they just didn't have the time together.
Do you recall making that statement?
I'm sure I made the statement. I'm just saying that they did not spend as much time together as they had previously.
Yes, ma'am, but you do recall making...
Yes, I recall making that statement.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Okay.
so out of context, I kind of can't figure out what you're asking. So. That's right. That's right. I'm looking for the motion right now, but go ahead. Please don't discuss the case. Thank you. General, I have all three of them that are pending. So I'm pulling up the one related to this witness. Go ahead.
As the number court is aware, on January 20th, 2026, Mr. Faust filed a notice of intention to introduce residual hearsay testimony pursuant to OCGA section 24-8-807 in regards to Ms. Ashleigh Peavy. In court's indulgence, Your Honor, my computer just froze on me. I have a hard copy, actually. And we ask that the Honorable Court admit 3 statements from Ms. Tara Baker that were made to Ms. Ashleigh Peavy. The first statement that we ask for admission of is Ms. Peavy stated in her interview with law enforcement that Ms. Baker confided in her that Chris Melton was not considerate and that she was doing a lot and Chris was not reciprocating. She didn't feel appreciated. The second statement from Mrs. Peavy Hall, please forgive me. Ms. Baker expressed frustration to Mrs. Peavy Hall, advising that Chris Melton wanted more time with her, but Ms. Baker was unable to give it. The third statement that we asked.
I'm here. I'm here. It's just like Alicia Andrews. I get some food and then there's a verdict. So I'm going to set my food down. It's going to be cold. I'm glad I didn't eat, though, because I'm really nervous. So. All right. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Oh.
All right, we are on the record. Counsel's at the table. Number 6, note. To the judge, the jury is ready to deliver the verdict. State ready.
Oh, okay.
State's ready, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, defense ready?
I'm nervous. I'm always nervous.
All right, thank you. You may bring the jury out. Actually, hang on just a moment. I'm sorry. I want to say something to the audience. So, ladies and
reactions.
gentlemen of the audience, I want to make sure that you understand, and you have been very understanding so far. So this is not an accusation. This is just a direction for everyone
Lady,
who's in the
read the
courtroom.
verdict.
This is a courtroom, and it is a court of law. There is to be no yelling or screaming or jumping up and down or any carrying on. Again, this is a court of law. Any kinds of those demonstrations of emotions need to be reserved for outside the courthouse. I'm going to ask for decorum. I'm going to demand it, but certainly ask all of you to continue behaving in the appropriate way that you all have been. And I appreciate everyone's patience. I appreciate everyone's cooperation, but I'm instructing all of you again that this is a court of law and everyone is to remain calm. Thank you. You may bring the jury out.
I'm so nervous. I'm always nervous. I'm always nervous.
All 12. Thank you. You all may be seated. Madam Foreperson, I understand the jury has reached a verdict. Is that correct? Would you please hand it to Mr. Terrell? The court will look it over first. Then I'm going to hand it back to you, Madam Foreperson, to read it out loud, called publishing in open court. Thank you. All right, Madam Foreperson, if you would read the verdict from top to bottom, you may remain seated. If it's easier for you to stand, you certainly can. If you'll pull that microphone in front of you down to you, read it from top to bottom. It is called, again, publishing the verdict. Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay. The jury finds the defendant on the following counts. Count 1, malice murder, guilty. Count 2, felony murder, guilty. Count 3, felony murder, guilty. Count 4, felony murder, guilty. Count 5, felony murder, guilty. Count 6, burglary, guilty. Count 7, aggravated sodomy, guilty. Rape, guilty. Count 9, aggravated assault, guilty. Count 10, aggravated sodomy, guilty. Count 11, arson in the first degree, guilty. Count 12, possession of a knife during commission of a felony, guilty.
All right, Madam Foreperson, if you would present that verdict to our bailiff. Mr. Terrell, if you'll bring it up to the bench. May I see counsel at the bench for you all to review the form of the verdict. Thank you. Any objection to the form of the verdict by the state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection to the form of the verdict by the defense? Thank you. You may be seated. Do either party want to poll the jury? I'll ask the state first.
State does not, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, defense? Yes, ma'am. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to poll each and every one of you, and that means the court is going to ask each juror the same questions and answer how you feel is best. I'm going to start on the front row with Madam Foreperson. Was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you?
Yes.
Is this now your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was this verdict agreed to by you?
Yes.
Is this now your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm now going to go from right to left. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room?
Yes.
Was this verdict agreed to by you?
Yes.
Is this now your verdict? Yes. Thank you. Ma'am, Was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Ma'am, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Ma'am, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Sir, was this your verdict in the jury room? Was this verdict agreed to by you? Is this now your verdict? Thank you. Anything else from the state with regard to polling the jury?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, anything else with regard to polling the jury, sir? All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your service to this county, Clarke County. It has been a long month. You have been very patient. You have always been here on time. I'm going to release all of you from any further attendance in this case. With the thanks of the court, you are all going to be free to go in just a moment. The bailiff will lead you to the front door as usual. You will be escorted to the elevator and escorted to the parking deck to your cars. With the thanks of the court, you are all free to go. Thank you. Everyone keep their place, please.
Judge, can you give me an instruction in regards if they want to stay behind and speak to counsel?
No. I certainly can do that.
Willing.
It's
And I will
definitely all
give
caps
counsel
time
leave
in the
to leave the
chat.
courtroom and speak to the jury if they want to. Everyone else needs to remain, please. But certainly if counsel would like to do that, you may do that. I'll say it to them as they leave, Mr. Cruz, if you'd like me to, sure. But everyone else needs to remain. Thank you. And again, there's no filming, as media has, obliged the court, thank you, of any of the jurors. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, as you leave, if counsel would like to speak with you and you would like to speak with them, you may. Otherwise, you are all free to go. Thank you for your service. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't hear me, if you would like to speak to any of the counsel, if they'd like to speak with you, it is up to you whether you'd like to. You may. Otherwise, you are free to go. Thank you all for your service. And counsel, you may leave to do that, and then we're going to be back on the record for a few other matters.
In this case, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure.
I don't know if they're going to ice us out. All right, there's a little bit of talking there. You guys know I don't have thoughts. I mean, I think the jury got this one wrong. I think they might actually have the wrong person, let alone I don't think that they proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And defense diaries was right. I think the DNA is tough to overcome. And then the defense didn't put on a case. I don't know if they're going to let us hear anything. That damn ginger ale. Yeah, I still don't get how they convicted on the sodomy charge when somebody else was in the anus and not the defendant. Also, big thank you, Kristen Vasquez, member for 11 months, saying this is not justice. I agree. I mean, I wish we could hear what they're saying if they're speaking with Cruz, and I don't know if Mancelli's back there too with the jurors. And definitely that part. Appeal's always a massive uphill battle. And then for what? A retrial?
Are going to talk about sentencing. We're not going to do it today. And I have a plan in place, but I want to hear from counsel as to their availability. I'm looking at my calendar, and this is a busy week here for our court, but Thursday afternoon at 3 o'clock seems to be the best time for this court. But I'll hear from both sides to see what their schedule is.
May I have just a moment?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And then, Mr. Cruz, I'll ask you. Let me just wait to hear from them, and then we'll go to you.
Thursday at 3 p.m. is fine with the state, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Mr. Hill.
Thanks.
How's Thursday at 3 o'clock? All right. We will see all counsel and Mr. Faust Thursday at 3 o'clock. Mr. Faust, you are in custody. Court is adjourned.
I mean, the sentence is going to be life without parole. But victim impact statements. I don't have a lot of thoughts, you guys. I'll go through like a cycle of it, but right now it honestly just feels blank. Yeah, you guys can do all caps. And I don't know if Defense Diaries, if Hal, Pam, if you guys want to come up, call you guys the A team. There's a StreamYard link in the chat. I don't know if I'm going to be very good at having a conversation right now. Oh. He's like, what about the next? Like, it could be done for you if you had a hookup with somebody and then someone found out about it and got mad. I'm not saying that that type of lineup is going to be that common where there's like multiple DNA around the same time as someone being murdered and it's a cold case still. But when it is, like, I really think it's more common than this prosecution and Liz Bingham would like to think that somebody catches their spouse with somebody else or somebody is losing an ex, like whatever the scenario that gets you there, and then they get angry. Then they get angry. Moses, he's indigent, so at least I don't think anything's changed, but there's like the notice of indigency on the dockets. And Janet, you can come up with that link if you want. Yep, the heat of passion defense. Yeah, I would love to hear from any of the jurors. I guess we'll get together, you guys. I guess we'll get together Thursday. 3:30 is kind of, it's like, I don't know, I feel like there might be several victim impact statements, as well as those that want to speak for, I'm assuming there will be several people that want to speak on Edrick's behalf. So, kind of weird to start that at 3:30 when the court's closed down at 5. But, I mean, everybody agreed to it. And I think we'll see some of those issues raised. Butterfly Lover says Cruz messed up in 2 huge ways, never filed a timely motion regarding consent, and didn't put on a case for the defendant. So, although I think they were going to put up a case until all of the state's motions in limine were granted. What was that, Friday last week? So... Oh, Donnie says I need to find the YSL trial. This is a different county. So the district attorney is Yamichelli, who we saw arguing. Dang. It's crazy. I feel like I jinxed it by just pulling up the Andrew Hayes story. I feel the same. I feel like I'm talking to, I might just, I was gonna do a quick video on Andrew Hayes. I don't think I'm gonna do that today. I just don't think I'm gonna do that today. All right, that gave me a laugh. The typo here, I'm in sock. That gave me a laugh. Oh. Guys, I think I'm gonna call this one. I'm gonna go like stare at a wall. And we'll be back Thursday. We'll be back Thursday. Yeah, I don't know. I'm upset. I'm upset. So, Ariane the vegetarian says, get Lana on this truth and transparency. Listen, if there's somebody out there that can find something from 2001, that's the place to go. So that might be it. And what a position to be in. That, how do you argue something if you didn't have an opportunity, and the only way you could find something is if you can go back 25 years and even know where to start looking for it. So, and thank you, Ariane the vegetarian. Guys, I'm going to call this. I know I invited people up. They're not taking up the offer. I don't even think I'd be good at hosting people on panel right now. I hope everybody does something where they take care of themselves today. And of course, we'll keep following what goes on here. We'll be back together on Thursday. I appreciate you guys a lot, and thank you for watching this trial with us.